that established and for you to get that control for us so we kind of know what to expect. And everything that we're seeing is everything that you've prepped me to see. But I guess the most interesting things for me, Fisher, are going to be in game, because something you were kind of talking me through is that you've been starting to see a lot more kind of out of left field picks.
Absolutely, and there's no better time to pull that out than the playoffs. And very important to note also, this is the most played map across all of Hyper Series. Obviously, everybody's seen this a lot this season, which means there's going to be a lot of tape on the other teams with every set streamed. We see a Zombie ban and a Solis ban. No real surprises there from the defense, so we can just keep talking about Chalet. But yeah, it's been played a whole lot. These teams are gonna know tendencies from the others. So on the defense, at least, you got to pull out new strategies. You know the offense is gonna know where you want to roam. They're gonna know where your utility's set up. So you got to keep them guessing. And something we've seen a lot lately, these teams really starting to trend towards this upstairs site first, instead of basement. Can be a little bit harder to defend, but if the defense knows what you're doing, and if you hold library for long enough, it shouldn't have too tough of a time. I'm guessing that's going to be a big focus there from Atlanta. Also would expect to see Bleeder 6 pick off this ramp.
All right, we're in. It's prep time in our first round here. Fisher, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the playoff excitement. It's hidden. It's got that thing about the air. It's got that 1 versus 2 seed feel. That special type of feel. And in this prep phase, Fisher, you mentioned how important it is for Los Angeles Blessed to come out strong, to establish themselves, to take advantage out of being defenders. What are the big things you're looking for during this prep?
Man, I don't know what there is to look forward during the prep phase, because obviously, I think like we both remarked earlier, there's going to be some different strats. The one thing I'm always interested to see is a castle. I think it just throws a huge wrench into the attacker's plans, especially when we look at that attacking side. They don't have many explosives. They can use an ace charge, or they can use one of Finka's very, very valuable frag grenades. So if they don't deal with those barricades early into the round, if you get down to 15-20 seconds, you're going to have a major problem on your hands. So for Atlanta, I really want to see them attack and enter this map pretty quickly.
Shooting between their teammates' legs is what I giggle at. See all the time. Out the gate, and Wolves trying to find the perfect spot to set up, get as much info as they possibly can. The user is currently on Ymir, so somebody to watch, obviously. See if they gets planted down early. That's what Fisher was looking for. That's the big thing, to see if they can get that pressure on. That pressure will lead to mistakes. At the gate already. Close encounters possibly coming. First pick going to come out. Lob's going to find Dean right out the gate, making a 5-4, favoring Los Angeles Blessed. A strong start for them, certainly.
Great pick there from Lobs through the store, and Atlanta taking an interesting approach, as Tracker's now going to get taken down by Explore, and this one coming up from the basement, right where they set an air jab. Dexy going to have to retreat, and we're seeing a solar push here. Normally don't see it. We'll see if the defense responds. They lose another, though, 3v4 for the attackers early.
And now with Thor's Blessing down, not going to be easy for Los Angeles Blessed to come back from this. Bleeder, quite literally with 1 HP, still making things happen. Lob's Blessing going to find a double kill in the meanwhile. Another 1v3 going to be there as Ymir finds Lob. But maybe Ad can stay alive and make this happen for Los Angeles Blessed. We ride along with Ad. Has a decent setup for this. Fisher, it's certainly possible.
It is, and Diffuser's down. What we were looking for. Can the Warden fix it? 1 HP on Nomad, and has the time to do so.
Sees it, but Shot's not going to find it there. Will turn the corner and have potential yet again. It's a dangerous spot to be in. Does not look the right way. Gets caught out, but doesn't die from the shots. Can't find it either. Steps through. Steps to the grave. Ymir is going to find it. Round. Go to Atlanta Wolves.
Good start, early start there from Atlanta. It's what we needed to see. It's that confidence boost. And Los Angeles, not a bad defense at all. I just really taken a little bit too long there. We're not able to stall them out long enough. Yeah, like you said, wanting to see early plants. We see just that. And Dexy, very, very close to getting that save there. Oh, with the members so low in HP, one shot could have made the difference there. And got to give props to Bleeder too. If they would have died there to that Thorn, not only would it have exposed the backside of that push, but wouldn't have had that second member there in the post plant. But now some confidence coming out from the Blessed as they're going back upstairs.
Attackers need to locate and
one thing you talked about a lot the last time that you and I were on Chalet casting was how important that vertical play was. And I believe when we watched it was Oslo who had that vertical play, and they dominated it to a point where it was kind of getting out of control, and that's what you were calling for. Are you looking for that? I mean, with them going here, are you starting to see some of those same signs?
Not out of the first sight yet, as vertical is less important, but I think definitely gonna need to see vertical pressure from both sides because, yeah, in that first Oslo match we saw, can't quite remember their opponent off the top of my head, but they were able to stall out so many attacks, not only on the top floor, but the basement and mid floors, because they had such strong control of that main room right by the library. Were really just able to stop a lot of attackers in their tracks. So I think one thing Atlanta did well there, obviously varying that push going in from Solar, meant they were able to bypass a lot of that setup there from the Blessed. Now, they were one that pushed from Garage last time, so with Dexy gonna position themselves downstairs. Gonna need to see some good drones if they don't want to die to this Warden really early on, as Lobs takes a little bit of damage.
I really liked the way that Dexy played before playing for the life. Just ultimately couldn't find the right shots and got a bit too caught out. So we'll see if Los Angeles Blast clean it up. Out the gate, just that damage to Lobs we talked about. Now Exploring as we ride along. Does have a decent spot, but not going to run to anything right away.
Both teams now maneuvering around a little bit. This time Atlanta switched up their attack yet again, and a very quick run there by Zehul gets him out of the eye line of the Ace, out on that main balcony. One's in the room though. Does the Frost know it? Members might have moved. Ace still holding the angle. Zehul not going to peek though. Frost in a precarious spot. Members on both sides.
This is a tough one for Zehul, as Fisher's pointing out. It's kind of the word you go and can't get that drone either. It's going to be a really tough spot. The pinch is still on, essentially. Eventually needs to move. Shots do ring out, but still no picks. There's the first one. Going to go to a Dexy. Held that spot long enough for it to be worth it, and Zehul did fall to knocked. Took a while for it to happen. Adexi gonna find the second one so far, picking up leader. Makes it a 4-3 for Los Angeles Blessed, and instantly heads downstairs.
Good few pickups by Adexi, and getting a C4 under the Ace is huge as well. Have a castle again, so now Flores is going to be the only thing that can get through those barricades. And of course, Los Angeles going to know all those walls they were reinforced going to be safe. Thatcher meets the eye-line. Thatcher goes down. Big kill now for Thors in a 4v2. Atlanta still has a minute left, but they're losing manpower fast. Get one back.
Attackers recovered the
With Thor gone now from Knocked. 3v2 massive. We'll see if Knock can get more than that. Seems to have a decent idea of how they need to play this. Same thing with Dean. Dean actually pre-aiming the perfect spot. Will get a shot on and will find Adexi. Makes it 2-2 in a massive pickup. Now with both members of the Atlanta Wolves grouped up. It's a big moment to try to make it happen. We'll see how they can get through to it. Los Angeles Blessed do find themselves in a decent spot to prepare for it, though, Fisher.
They do, and they're pushing from the same side here. Gonna send Dean Ibarra around to the doorway to get some action, and finds Castle
right into
now
him.
2v1.
With Lobs being gone, that's a tough spot to be right now for Track. There is a way to make it happen. There's always a way, but if he peeks that corner, it's over. There's a flash, gonna be in trouble. Turns the corner though, and finds Knock to make it a 1v1. I didn't think there was any way, Fisher, that was gonna happen, but now in a bad spot, does get some shots rung through from Dean. Dean turns the corner, looks forward, plays aggressive with the pistol, but runs into the shots from Track and gets dropped. Defenders stick around.
Seeing a clutch early on. Great job from the Wamai, dancing around that wall there, and the challenge on the Ion and not expecting it at all. Notch really had no chance there. Great job from the Wamai. And now gonna save the round there. So they're gonna move not onto basement, but they're going to bar gaming. Something we all also see a little bit lately. Some teams just don't like Snowmobile Garage. But this is one of those ones we were talking about. Now, this is probably the site where vertical control is the most important on the map. So much floor you can rip up above the bar and gaming room. So for me, we need to see Los Angeles have a stellar defense here on the top row.
You called for avoiding any kind of split. You called for getting as much of an advantage as they possibly could have. It's gonna be the big thing for Los Angeles Blessed. I'm invested now. And one person who caught my eye, Fisher, very early on was Adexi. The angles that were held felt strong, and the 2 kills out the gate from Los Angeles Blessed set them up and are really the reason that towards the end we were able to see what we did see from Track. Is there was so much set up to it. Track had so much room to breathe towards that end that it felt like Atlanta Wolves were just constantly kind of on the back foot on their own offense.
Setting the welcome mat.
It was, and Adexi picked up some really important kills too, got the ace and the Nomad down. So by himself, just clearing so much utility. Uh-oh, and spawn peek gone wrong. Castle will go down. Thorzo there to pick him up, so just 20 HP for the rest of the round there. Or Thor's. That's a big tough break, but luckily, no death early on. I think that was Ymir's that almost killed him.
Oopsie.
I mean, no better words for it.
I had to get my oopsie across. Thor's Thor's is low, so somebody to keep our eyes on. Certainly, Diffuser going to be on Ymir's yet again. Constant from Atlanta Wolves. One of the slower starts comparatively, but it doesn't seem to last very long, Fisher.
Doesn't. 40 seconds in, though. Not too much pressure put out now by the Wolves. Flores going to open it up. And that's a big destruction. That deployable shield on the stairway, so important for this upstairs hold here. Los Angeles now going to have a much tougher time contesting. And Atlanta should look to push in from office. It's going to make their job a lot easier. And Zoli almost gets picked from the window. They're doing a lot of work there, the Wolves.
Zoli going through it up here as we do right along. Can't find the drone either. It seems to be
Great
constant
drone.
so far. The chaos they're causing, Fisher. You can feel it. You can kind of feel the frustration that comes through it. Now, Atlanta Wolves fighting themselves a bit deeper in. Still everyone alive in mid and 40 left to go in round 3. But things they're on a knife's edge. It's close.
Flores has done such a good job on this upstairs, getting rid of that utility early. The shield's down, going to be a tough time. Last wall coming up now. Now's where Los Angeles has to frag out, and they can't.
Zoli going to be down to knocked out the gate, and another one's going to fall not much longer after. Atlanta Wolves find themselves in a very strong 5v3 out the gate. The patience has certainly paid off. Now a 5v2 with Bleeder picking up a Dexy. It's just non-stop right now. Los Angeles West cannot catch a break, and a lot of it has been the drone work. Nox going to find another, going to find Track that time. One more remains for this round to go. We'll see if Lobs can survive through it and make the play happen. Does find one, going to find a second one. Looks up and sees Dean just falling into his arms.
Are activating the diffuser.
Diffuser going to be down. Tougher for Lobs to deal with, but Lobs still alive, still confident. Finding another for a triple kill. Lobs is making it happen so far.
One member outside, though, going to have a lot of work to do. Ymir's can play this one really safe. Good luck, caught in a frost trap gets up. 27 seconds. There's time, but a lot to do left for this Mira.
A lot to do, and not a lot of time left to do it. 20 seconds for Lobs to play with. Steps out the window and going to run into Ymir's. And unfortunate, Lobs did everything possible there. Was able to find the triple, but not able to finish it through. Ymir's just had the perfect spot waiting for that window to be stepped through.
And a very, very valiant effort there from Lobs on the Mira. Did a really good job getting that down to 1v2. And they're going to go back to Bar Gaming, and I don't hate that because there's one really, really simple fix to everything that went wrong. Bring a mute. If the Flores gets the drones jammed, they can't blow up those shields. I don't think the Lamai would have died there on the mezzanine. The castle wouldn't have been forced off stairs so quickly to give support. If you bring something like a mute, it would make it a lot easier. They're going to switch it up, though. Flores, again, will be able to get those down. They have a Wamai to stop frag grenades, but wondering if they might have missed an opportunity. Oh, no, they go kitchen dining. Sorry, I guess they changed location, so maybe not as big of a deal.
All right. Round 4, Fisher. 2-1 so far for Atlanta Wolves. Kind of the anti of what you were looking for if you were a Los Angeles West fan, and the things that you needed to happen. It's not too late to turn it around yet, though, if you're looking for that split. But they got to turn a lot around in not a lot of time. And we've seen that they're able to handle the fights well. It just kind of feels like on the rounds they lose, they get separated very badly.
5 seconds left before.
They have been so far, so we need to see them really tighten it up a little bit on defense. And one thing that's been constant throughout all the rounds, even the one where they won, there was a pretty big swing of like 2 to 3 kills unanswered for the Atlanta Wolves, and it's something that's always so important in Siege, of course, being the refrag, the ability to play closely enough to your teammates so when they die, you're able to get a not free kill, but one where you're at a heavy advantage. Haven't seen that so far for Los Angeles. Gonna look to change that this round. Once again, 4 people upstairs here. Cade, the lone member on site. They're all pretty concentrated. Atlanta shouldn't have any problems at all clearing out library.
This will be big because so far Los Angeles West have not been able to play around trades like Fisher was talking about. It's been a tougher spot, but they are getting strong individual performances that pull them through, that anchor them through once they start to lose members. That's been the secret to their success, but they got to continue it, and that's the toughest part.
It's going to be in Flores once again doing a ton of work early in the rounds. Maybe they should have banned them instead of the Jackal here for Los Angeles. No way to know though, and they still have to clear a bunch of members out of upstairs, but using drones really well, they know there's at least 2 members here. Castle dancing around everything. Tracker's going to have to go big this round in order to stall out the Wolves.
Feels like all they can do is stall them out at this point. I like the setup we're seeing from Wolves. I like the play that we're seeing. Mirror's going to be close to it. Could get a decent shot here through. Already shots ring out. Still no pick, still calm, but Track going to walk away at what would have been a great angle that was being held. Ymir's is the same exact thing. Ymir's with the perfect patience. The shot's going to ring right above. Going to knock the hearing out, certainly, but not going to find a pick still. Still holding on 5-5. 1 minute 16 left in the round. Turns the corner. Bop! There it is. Ymir's going to find Track. Already a 5v4. Already Los Angeles Blessed trying to react, but they react and they lose at Dexy to knocked. 5v3 favoring Wolves. Still shots ring out. Maybe this is a chance to turn it around for Lobs, but as Lobs runs away, he gets dropped and Ymir's finds the other. It's a 1v5 already. Down to Zoli to try to make the miracle play happen in a 1v4 now after finding the 1. We saw Lobs come close. Maybe Zoli will be the answer. Has 45 seconds to play with on the hunt. Bleeder down low. Will be just 1 shot. Ymir is planting now. So Zoli's clock's ticking. But turns and sees Bleeder and does clean up the 1 health bar remainder of Atlanta Wolves. And with the fuser planted, Fisher, the sands of time are slipping.
Gonna have a tough job to do. They know they're on the top floor, so they can really just watch the drops and be okay. Can turtle up by it here. Zoli gonna be the first one to meet this thermite. Are they still on the drone? No, they got off. Ymir is doing it at the right time. Zoli with 20 seconds, time taken down. It's looking like another Atlanta victory.
All you gotta do is play for trades at this point, and they don't even need to. Dean gonna clean up Zoli. Round 4, gonna go the way of Atlanta Wolves.
Let me tell you, I'm so glad to see the diffuser keep going down. It kind of feels like deja vu from the Oslo Edmonton. Every round Atlanta's won on attack, and so far it's been 3. They've got the diffuser down. The timer hasn't run down yet. They've ultimately ended the rounds on picks every time. But now we're going to see Los Angeles really need to pick it up. Maybe a bit stronger side play. Because that one we saw again, such a heavy roam presence, and it was a 1v5 in literally 10 seconds from a 5v5. Yeah. They need to work on the trades. They need to make sure they're doing everything they can as a team. And the one thing I'd be expecting if I was them, surprised we haven't seen it yet, is a tactical timeout. We don't want to see them hold it too long. Could really use a minute here to kind of get their heads back in it.
Probably the toughest thing to do is grab a hold of that reset when it feels like the chaos is becoming too much and you find yourself getting picked left and right. And either comms go silent or comms go to chaos in those moments, and that makes it even tougher to recuperate. So I'm right with you. Maybe a timeout would be the way to go to get themselves collected and recentered. So without it then, Fisher, what's the solution? Is there a clear solution?
Well, I think obviously the solution would just be to start winning the rounds, but it's really not as simple as that. I think the one thing I'm worried about, it's not necessarily strats. There's always going to be offensive attacks that really just kind of break whatever you have set up. And there's no way to prep for that other than trying again, learning from it. The thing I'm more worried about is kind of the comms, the confidence. It can be really difficult, especially on a defensive map like Chalet, where it is a little bit more attacker-sided than some, but you're really expected to win at least 4 rounds on defense, and now they can only get 3 at the max, and that's if they win out here. I'd just be worried about a little bit of tilt, more so than their gameplay, because their gun skill, while losing a lot of players, it hasn't been horrible, just maybe a little bit of bad luck for the Blessed. Uh-oh, and they see a roamer, and they do not see the drone. This could be really, really costly for, I think that's a Dexy down there. It is.
Dexy so far has been such a strong point for Los Angeles Blessed, but now does leave that spot and will be lucky for the moment. Actually resets at a decent position to catch the person chasing. Drone gonna spot him out again, however. Unlucky for a Dexy. So far, Fisher has gotten run out of every comfortable spot we've seen. Trax takes some damage. A Dexy does take the peek, but does get dropped down. Door is also low, so things already turning into chaos once again. for LA Blessed. Atlanta Wolves just know how to take advantage. They know how to really bring the fights to LA and make it difficult for them to react, for them to find any coordination through their shots. It's been the reason we've seen rare trades.
And LA could be in trouble here. They got a lot of members in this building really early on. Iona just gonna drone out, get some more intel. And everybody else in LA, except for, I believe, Adexi, is in the site. They've really turtled down here, and Atlanta's making good progress. Ash trying to blow a wall open, won't quite get it. Well, my charge is still strewn around, and a lot of missing HP here for LA. Atlanta's gonna look to really choke this one out.
And finally, the shots start ringing out. Not going to find track off the gate. There is a return. Dexy does find knocked back. So the trades we've been asking for so desperately from LA are starting to come through, but it'll be too little too late with all the damage that they've taken. Only damage for ATL is on Ymir's Fisher. And Diffuser still in hand and clock draining. The Wolves have done just that. They've choked them out. Potential there for a kill, but not going to find it. Dean in a great spot, though. Has backup as well. Ymir's gets picked off by Lobs there. That's a massive pick for LA Blessed. That could potentially swing this momentum that's been dripping to the side of ATL. Bleeder going to turn the corner, run into another, though. Trades ring through. We find ourselves at 3-2 with 30 seconds left remaining in the round. Adexi back on board. Thor is going to get dropped, though. Makes it a 2v2, and health is not amazing for ATL, but Adexi is still living on a dream right now. If LA can't get some kind of thing working here, Fisher, if they can't break through, it's a gust of wind. It's going to take Adexi down. With that, they're going to find it, they're going to make it happen, and they're going to drop him. ATL will take the round.
So close there to getting the round for Los Angeles. And although they ceded a lot of ground early, they were forced back into objective very early on. I was really impressed with the gun skill there. They were winning a lot of trades. They were holding all the right angles. I think Lobs in particular did a really strong job there. But unfortunately, just a little bit too much too quickly. Atlanta with a few key kills there to close it out. Now they're going back up to bedroom. And even if it's a 2-4 split, it wouldn't be good for the defense. But I'd argue they need this round for the mentals. You can't go into attack losing almost 5 straight. They won all the way back in round 2, so they've now slid 3 in a row. And for Atlanta, this is where you really turn it on. This is where you kind of drive the dagger in, because on this map, getting two wins on defense, if you have a 5-1-half, shouldn't be that hard for them to accomplish.
4-1 for ATL Fisher. I go back to the very beginning. I go back to when we were still looking at the gorgeous cities, and the exact thing that you said that LA could not allow to happen is transpiring.
Yep, losing rounds early, letting the diffuser get planted, not having any blowout rounds of their own. It's looking dangerous, and they changed it yet again. They keep doing that at the last minute. It's really tripping me up. They're going back down to the kitchen, which they didn't win, and more than that, was not one of their more convincing rounds. I believe, was that the one that they were in a 1-on-5? I think it was a 1-on-5 or a 1-on-4. I think they've had 2 of them, but it was only Zoli as a Fenrir, yeah, in a 1-on-5. So I'm a little bit confused by the choice. I think they've had a lot more success on the bedroom, but we'll have to see. I do like the confidence, to switch it up, say something isn't working, but we really need to see it pay off for them here. Once again, they're going to have 3 members roaming upstairs.
At the gate, ATL will definitely look to force fights early, and if not force fights early, because that's been a strength, then they'll choke out LA Blessed. They'll run the time down and make LA Blessed feel stressed and rushed. That's been the other strength that we have seen so far, and it's been consistent that that's the play. Finally, a drone gets picked up. I feel like we've seen that so far from LA Blessed, Fisher. Those drones have been such a problem.
They have been. They've been doing a really nice job getting a ton of intel. Oh, and 2 members jump in. They didn't drain it out.
Oh my God!
Huge.
Adexi, it pays off, Fisher. Adexi been trying to make a play like that happen this entire time, and finally finds it at the perfect time. LA Blessed find themselves in a 5v3 that can be entirely attributed to Adexi's timing.
The drone's becoming a crutch here for Atlanta. A fatal mistake is to go down, and that's a big 2. That's your flank watch there in Gridlock, and of course your only hard breach. No way to get down the hatches now. They've just got to tear up the floor here with Ram and hope to find some picks. But they've still got to clear all the members out. Still 3 upstairs here for Los Angeles, and Adexi now has disappeared from where they saw him. Lobs, can he find the bullets? No, he can't.
A triple kill so far for Adexi. 5-2 favoring LA Blessed. Adexi being the hero that was needed
Attackers
to
have
stop
recovered their diffuser.
the catastrophe that so far has been this 4-1 split that Fisher said we needed to avoid so badly, and Adexi's been the answer. Dean in a dangerous spot could turn a corner and get picked. Adexi's just on one right now. Looks like Atlanta Wolves might be slowing down the pace a little bit, trying not to make any more mistakes get picked off any easier. But Lob's gonna run into Noct and drop him. Just one remaining, and they've been spotted by Track. It's now just an escape for Dean. Head downstairs, but now everyone knows where Dean is. Diffusion not in hand. Fisher, this could spell the end. There will be a pick from Dean on the lobs. Actually could find another. Has a decent spot here to take the fights with an angle of stairs and that hallway. It's a problem for LA Blessed. They got to get through and do a clean. Don't want to throw it here, and they will not. Dean will peek just a bit too far, and Track will clean it up.
Great win there from the Los Angeles Blessed, and I think we were talking about it right before the round started. If not only to get a round back on defense, get some momentum back on their side, get their legs back under them a little bit. Really good round win there. A little bit surprised Dean didn't just elect to kind of, jump out the window, save a little bit of time, have an in-game tactical timeout, start talking over some of the defensive strats. Might have helped Atlanta a little bit prep better for this, but I guess we're going to have to wait and see as they do go on defense now. Haven't seen him yet. But even with that last round loss and a pretty big one, a nice round for Los Angeles, a 4-2 split, that'd be good if they were on defense on this map. But to do it on offense, a really, really nice few rounds there from Atlanta.
Are you finding yourself surprised at all, Fisher? I know we were kind of talking about how we expected this to be even, but it hasn't felt even, but not... It's hard for me to explain. It hasn't felt even, but not in a stomping sense. It hasn't felt even in a team play sense. That's where ATL seems to be so strong. LA Blessed seems to be kind of relying on the shots and plays, while ATL is just making it happen, making the strengths happen when they need it most. We see it in the replay what Adexi did there at the start. Just nasty.
It was a really nice play there from the Wamai, just going massive, and such important picks really early on. Just threw a wrench into Atlanta's whole plans. Couldn't get anything to go from there. But I think back onto your question, it's more a sense of different play styles. It looks like Atlanta, and I guess we'll see here on defense how differently they play things, but with how slow they take attacks, with the amount of kills they have and the time, they're a team that likes to take their time. They play strat heavy, where it definitely seems like Los Angeles relying more on those frags to kind of carry them through rounds. But so far, it haven't been happening. We'll see if it changes on offense. Dexy on the knock here, so going to be avoiding cams without a Valkyrie, and on this map, all the cams are in pretty common places. Wonder if maybe not having the best gun in the world isn't the best move for your team's biggest fragger.
If you're LA Blessed, Fisher, if you know that they're going to take that patient route, if they're going to make you make the mistakes, because patience is the virtue of ATL, is there a way you can get around that without overextending?
It's a bit difficult to say how they're going to play this. I think, honestly, just have to wait until this first round transpires, because we know Atlanta's going to play this defense slow. They're going to play it tactically. We don't know how Los Angeles is going to attack this. They've shown a pretty big variety in their defensive strats. And once again, just like Atlanta in round one, they're going for a solar push. Oh, and that's a really unlucky miss right there from Echo. Can he find the shots? No, he cannot.
The oopsie turns into an oopsie poopsie there, making it a 5-3 favoring a side of Los Angeles Blessed. He's going to have to take some cleanup here from ATL to get this one back on track. Dean going to run into somebody as well, and Zoli's going to make it a double kill. Make it even tougher for ATL to have the clean round they wanted. Bleeder will get a pick at a Dexy. Turn around. There's more going. Fisher, it's already a 4-1 Bleeder, though. Somebody I'll be watching, that's why, but doesn't last long. Track going to clean it up. I thought maybe there was a chance there for Bleeder to turn that round around after the rough start, but just not the case.
And that's probably about what we expect to see out of LA there. They really didn't do a whole ton of roam clearing. They all pushed from solar side. They had, one out on the piano window, and they just fragged out, just like on defense. Although this time not a Dexy, it was actually that Gridlock on the stairs. I think it was Zoli did a lot of the work in that round, getting that heads-up play on the defender through the wall as well. Very, very nice job there. But yeah, it just seems like they're really relying on those kills to carry him through. And while it worked this time, a little bit worried if Atlanta starts to catch on, they start to win some of these heads-up gunfights a little bit more consistently. It could really go
Defenders, protect your
downhill here
Used by
for Los
attackers.
Angeles. We need to see them get some convincing rounds to kind of really put the fear back into them.
I love that LA Blast came out looking like a different team there. They had the right amount of aggression for me. And yes, they did play off the mistake, but the mistake can't be blamed for the entirety of the round there for ATL for sure. And LA Blast, any signs of changing what's needed when it's needed is massive. Now in round 8, currently 4-3 favoring ATL. No better time to come online.
10 seconds left.
Really isn't. We're gonna see what they do here, and for the first time this game, we're actually gonna see a snowmobile defense. Of course, Los Angeles didn't elect to do that in any of their 6 rounds, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. And Los Angeles, like we said, you know, they really like to frag out, they really like to get kills, and they do have a ram, so they could go for some vertical control here, something I know I've been looking for all game. But when you look at Atlanta's defense, it's really turtle heavy. They might just be relying on their angles, trying to wait out the Blessed, because they do not have much of an impact on the map anywhere. I actually think it looks like only the Echo right now that's out of sight, and Echo gets a kill early onto a Dexy, so maybe they're onto something.
Getting a Dexy down early is massive because LA Blast have been really relying on a Dexy to be the leader of these fights, the leader of the engagements, because the shots have been so clean constantly. And for ATL to have that control early is massive, and now they can slow down the pace to what they want because they've gotten rid of what could be arguably one of the biggest problems.
They have. We'll see what they're able to do with it. Still 2 minutes here for the Blessed to work with because of that Echo. Now back in sight. They've got the rest of the map to work with. I don't know if they've noticed it yet on the drones. With Ram jumping down into the main lobby, you think they have, but now they have all the defenders trapped in sight. And start to break open that floor. We need to see Blessed get a few picks here, because straight push onto sight is going to be really difficult to get on.
Shots do ring through. A lot of pokes found the way of track. Exploring as well, but
Attackers bomb diffuser has
some
been
shots
deployed.
will be clean from Exploring, picking up Thor's there. With the Diffuser down. It's a nice spot, a nice change of pace for ATL right out the gate.
It is now 2 kills for the Wolves, but with a member pushing down the main stairs here, you'd think with a minute left they could just start to hold their angles, but one in the back for Trackers, able to take down Ymir's. A good pick for them, and that garage wall is open. With all the Wolves playing so far off-site, this Thatcher might be able to sneak a plant in. It'll be difficult to pull off, though.
The plant does go down. Maybe that will make the pressure happen that will cause the mistakes we keep asking for. We haven't seen it a lot so far on map 1. You might need to start seeing it from LA Blessed to force ATL into making those errors, because so far the picks have been few and far between, with the exception being previous round. Exploring going to run into Trackers, take him
Attackers
down.
have recovered their diffuser.
4-2 for ATL. Does ease up a little bit on the pressure, but all of a sudden, Lobs cleaning up Bleeder makes it a bit more dire, makes the trades feel more possible. It's funny, we were asking for those trades on defense. We're finding them more on offense from LA Blessed.
Now what are they going to be able to do? Diffuser starts to go down here. Still a 3v2. Can they get the Nomad? No,
Got
they
him.
cannot. Huge kill from Zoli.
Diffuser is planted now. Zoli does have that pick, and going to be another one found for LA Blessed. They take out Knocked. It's just Exploring with 1 HP and a Dream so far if they want to get this round through. It's going to be tough. Not possible. Zoli shuts it down. That's going to be a round going the way of LA Blessed, and boy, do we have a map now.
What a round there from the Blessed. Who knows? Maybe offense is the new defense here on Chalet. That's going to be, oh gosh, what is it now? 6 out of the 8 rounds to the attacking side. So we've certainly got it going on. Gotta say, really surprised that Atlanta weren't able to pull that one out. Up 5-3 with only a minute left. Even if your turtle down in sight, might have been able to pull something together, but just some really strong picks from the Blessed yet again, seeing that ring out. And even though it's not my favorite strat in the world to just rely on the gun skill, if you've got it like Los Angeles does right now, it's kind of hard not to.
Nah, they're playing my style. I suck at this game. Just give them your gunning and give it your best.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Always a fair strategy. I'm surprised it doesn't work out for you more.
Oh, come on.
If you can brag on Smite, I can a little bit on R6. You know, we got to get even somehow.
Eventually we gotta find a game we both suck at. Then that's the game we'll both enjoy the most.
Absolutely. We'll definitely have to do some theory crafting later. See what we're equally bad at.
Catch me on
have a one
Tekken.
going for Bragging Rights. Tekken? I don't think I even know what that is.
Oh, you're so cute. Oh, the little baby didn't know what Tekken is. Anyway,
Well, now I'm just completely flustered.
round 9, 4-4. LA Blessed making a strong comeback so far after a very rough start, being down 4-1 to ATL Fisher, and they've done it in basically every way that we haven't expected.
Really haven't. Very, very impressed with the way Los Angeles has kind of willed themselves back into this game. Who knows, maybe just needing a bit of a warm-up, a little bit of time for those guns to come online. Now going back up to Bedroom, they won this one really convincingly last time. They had 4 early kills right off the bat. It was, you guessed it, another 1v5. Seen already about 3 or 4 of them this match. So for me, they need to get some kills earlier. They don't look like they're doing a ton of extension. This is almost every site now where they've had 4 people in the objective, and I don't know if I love it. I mean, Gridlock already on the mezzanine. It's not even a minute in, and they've lost half the map.
Certainly bad sign of things to come, Fisher. There's no way to put it. Exploring, gonna clean up trackers to keep the bad times rolling. Claymore outside that window as well. We've definitely seen it. That's a play that's been made quite a few times.
Has been. Gridlock's trying to approach now. They're making a lot of ground really quickly. I'm surprised Atlanta do have one member out of sight. Dean Ibarra could go huge here.
Speed run so far, definitely. It's a tough one to read. The big thing for me is we've seen that LA Blast take the gunfights like that, and they find them clean. Thor's gonna clean up Exploring. But when ATL can starve the game, that's when they play their best. But when they're sprinting through, it's been different. It makes it tougher to read for me, certainly, but it must be tough to read for LA as well, Fisher. They're now down 3-4. ATL early.
Dean finally gets a kill there on the flank as Fenrir. Wonder if they're going to start coming back to site, still hanging around a little bit longer. A minute left to work with here for the attackers. Los Angeles have some time, and looking at the map state, they still have a lot they can do, but that ace still unable to open up that main wall. Could be costly for him later. I think finally did get the second breach open, so it is a possibility. But now Dean getting back to site, so manpower going to be strictly in the advantage of Atlanta here.
Three shots from Bleeder, looking for a pick. Not gonna find it there. Zoli has a decent angle here, actually. Will run into one, but looks the wrong direction, turns and still finds it off of Bleeder. Knows exactly where to go, but gets caught off of the cross there from Ymir's. Makes it a 2-3 now for ATL's favor. Tough spot being for LA Blessed as well, with Thor's being down so low, Lobs being the only healthy member still on the map. ATL are kind of back in control here. They do have Knocked and Ymir's down below half, but the angles they're holding, it should be decent. Trouble brewing, turns the corner, runs in the Knocked, gets dropped from the side of Dean. They held that cross perfect. There's the last one dropped. ATL take round 9.
Just as we were talking about those confidence boosters for Los Angeles in that final round, you think that's got to be the same thing here for Atlanta. Losers of 3 straight finally pick one up. More so than that, just like last round on Garage, they're able to find an early lead in the man count and really run through with it. Great job by the Fenrir off site. And even though I'm not really a fan of the heavy turtle strats they're doing pretty good at it. They're wasting a lot of time even in the rounds they've lost. I think the Bedroom was the one exception, but they do know how to do that strat pretty well. Interested to see if Los Angeles is going to catch on, because they can really move through the majority of this map in 15 seconds and have just so much time to work with and really burn utility out of the site. Going to Bar Gaming Room now, so a site we haven't seen yet from the Wolves.
It's always easier to watch from our perspective, certainly. We get to see everything at all times where everyone is. So for us, it's a bit easier to understand the way that ATL's been playing and the way that LA Blessed could take advantage of it. But at some point, Fisher, what's got to click for LA Blessed to get a better hold of it?
I would hope it would after this site. However, the only thing that's going to throw a wrench, this is not a site you can anchor on. If you anchor on this site, you're going to die, you're going to lose. I assume Atlanta knows this, so we're going to see a much heavier upstairs play in DBR and not a single member in sight as of right now. So this might actually slow Los Angeles down and kind of recognizing that. However, you think after 3 straight ends of the same thing, at least after this round, because this site does play differently, they're going to be back to normal, and they should hopefully start to clear out a little bit quicker. Gonna have to wait and see, though. Gonna have to crack this site first, and if Atlanta can hold that top floor, gonna have a really difficult time doing that.
Zoli going to come through that back side, and will actually have decent setup to potentially make something happen, assuming Zoli can get through safely. That's the big thing here. Also, always looking at Dexky. Been gross his entire game.
Los Angeles moving in a little bit quickly here. They're already making head ground on the top floor. Look at Lobs. So close to a lot of defenders.
Nox waiting. Nox hears it. Lobs comes through. Could be problems. Not going to reposition. Lobs going to slow things down. Go back to drone. Try to get some kind of information. Now ready to play that aggressiveness that Fisher was talking about. But a world of hurt is waiting for Nox. Should it go through? Ymir's tosses. But not going to find anything from it. Was close, though.
Defenders knocked, still playing close on these stairs. Now Los Angeles have done a great job. A minute and a half to work with here, and they get the opening kill. Who else? It's going to be a Dexy.
That's going to make a Dexy now 10 kills strong for LA Blessed. And with the 5v4 advantage and with the way that ATL's sort of having to go back and forth, find the corners, hide a bit, it's tough to break through.
Great Twitcher on there. Can they find the Mira?
Oh,
finally do it at the end of the hatch. Dexy with another one. Dini Barra answers back. The Jaeger's gotten behind the attack.
Dropping like flies. Now Lobs finds Dean 4-2, but they don't stop there. Triple kill for it. Dexy makes it 4-1. LA Blessed just need one more pickup to move through. Make it tied 5-5. Stairs. Lobs gets picked up. Nox finds it. Tracker's waiting below. Has a decent spot. And meanwhile, Thor's gets picked up. Double kill for Nox. Standing in a great spot. Dexy and Tracker is going to group up to not let this be anything but a trade. But not going to do everything possible to find the best angle through. Nox considering it. Drops through into sights of Dexy. Dexy couldn't find it instantly, however. Tracker's going to go around, try to find a better angle. Nox still alive, if not barely. Can't find the shots there. Nox just living on a dream, finds Trackers for the triple kill. It's a Dexy v Noct here now, but Dexy's got all the health on Noct. The Doc can't even take a gust of wind.
What an attempt. Well, Mai now has gotten behind. Does Noct hear him? She does. Dexy looking for the kill.
It's going to be so close. Dexy's got to find it here. 10 seconds left. We'll find it. Gets the shots off and cleans it up. Nothing Noct could do there. A Dexy and Noct went toe for toe, but a Dexy proves to have the stronger toes.
Didn't quite see the win, but can we get just a slow clap there for Noct? Absolutely cleaning it up in a 1v4, down to a 1v1. Unfortunate that the last player there was a Noct, moving through silently, suppressor on the weapon, not too much hope there, and having to move so fast. With that timer, not too much what Mai can do. Still, great effort. Now, like you said, Los Angeles pushes it to 5-5. So we're all tied up. Somebody needs to win 2 out of the next 3 rounds in order to stop us from overtime. Also, one important note, it is not infinite overtime yet. It's still first to 15 if it does get tied up at 6-6. So unfortunately, not going to see those hour-long siege games just yet.
Oh no.
I know you're heartbroken.
Oh man, so far Dexy Fisher has just been putting on an absolute clinic. But not to be forgotten about, got to 11 kills in that last round. And watching those two 1v1 so far is a massive highlight for me. And the way we saw Noct reposition constantly throughout that fight, kind of outmaneuvering even Trackers, when Trackers had looped around looking for a good swing, was really impressive.
It was just innate knowledge there, doing everything they can. And now, with the defense going back downstairs, I definitely don't hate this call. They almost had the win the first time around. They had a couple really early, really nice pickups from, I believe it was Dini Barra on the Echo, if I'm not mistaken. Now on the Valkyrie, so maybe a little bit more range with those cams. I'm going to see yet again the lone member roaming out of sight. Now here's where we get to see, just like you asked last round, if Los Angeles is going to learn. there's one person out of sight, and even so, they're on, what, the staircase? Really not that far out. Yet again, Los Angeles can tear through this map in 15 seconds and have the entire floor opened up, but I just don't think they've realized it yet. Valkyrie is headed upstairs, though, so maybe a little bit of pressure. No, went back downstairs, never mind.
Odd. Consistently odd that they haven't not caught on to the same thing, but the rounds are still working out, tied up at 5. So I guess it's not the end of the world. They haven't figured it out, but eventually something's got to crack there. Someone's got to say something.
You would think, and like we always say, it's better to see teams take it slowly than move too fast, as now we might see an early gunfight. Zoli getting very close to the Valkyrie here. But yeah, like you said, after so many rounds, think they would have caught on. Still not the case, but hopefully if they do get that garage wall open, like they did last round, we're able to make a lot happen through it. They're having a lot of difficulties removing that move.
LA West taking their time, making sure they've got enough information to feel confident. Zoli constantly has been that person trying to make those early engagements happen for LA West. Now in, Dean, close by. Could be a problem for Zoli. If Zoli goes down those stairs, Dean's ready for it, but the drone goes first. That's information for Zoli. We'll see how Dean plays it now. Flash not going to find Zoli. Zoli steps down the stairs. Already a pick on Ymir. Zoli can find a second one right away. It's going to be a 5v3. Going to be a third. Falling to Zoli. Not so far. Steps up the stairs. That'll be the end of it. 5v2 already for LA Blessed. Not going to clean up Zoli on the trade after it. 4v1. LA Blessed trying to make things happen. Bleeder, the last one standing, and Bleeder is bleeding out. Can't find that shot in an impossible position. Impossible it is. Adexi finds the last one. It's match point for LA Blessed.
They've now won 4 out of the 5 rounds on attack here, so Atlanta just absolutely need to come up massive. Luckily for them, they can go back to the bedroom. It's been their only site win so far on defense. Bad news for Los Angeles did win it the first time around, but that will be the site here for the Wolves. Gonna have to go big if they want to get into overtime. And now, like we said, Los Angeles, I think, did a much better time that job of winning their gunfights, getting themselves into the map early on. We've seen it so far every time on offense. There is zero pressure on the, I think it's the west side of the map there, over by Library. Absolutely zero. If I was the Wolves, this is the time to change something up. The turtle strat has not been working.
So what would you go to? If the turtle strat's not working, if you find yourselves needing to adjust, but you might be a bit hard-headed to the idea of adjusting because LA Blessed are still admittedly having some problems with it, even though they have for the most part broken through it, well then what's your go-to, Fisher?
Honestly, I think it's just a more extended play. On this top site, you really don't need to have a ton of first floor control, outside of maybe trying to keep the people out of solar early, but that's still pretty situational. I just want to see them extend, whether it's up into the mezzanine, over all the way into library, whatever it is, they're not, by anchoring down, giving themselves anything to work with. There's nowhere they can push out if they start to get boxed in. There's nothing that they can do to waste any time, which means Los Angeles is really just dictating the pace, dictating the gunfights of every single round over and over. But from the setup, it looks like, yeah, yet again, every member of Atlanta still in the objective.
And
Except
even
for
when
Dean.
except for Dean. And even when ATL allow LA Blessed to fall into their laps, we see plays like what we have with Zoli, where Zoli breaks through and is able to cause so much havoc that ATL adjusts to, and that the rest of LA Blessed just start cleaning house on the other side of the map. These are things you cannot allow to happen.
You really can't. Now we're going to see what Los Angeles is able to do. Obviously, they want to win it out here. So to avoid overtime, might be able to. They have attacked and won this bomb site, like we mentioned earlier, so they're going to know what to do. They did bring the Flores, so this castle barricades are going to be really short-lived. Dean now pushing out into that side of the map, so might be able to find something later on this game. It's the south side, not west, excuse me.
Adexi now in as well. Adexi and Zoli both have been shooters. Adexi sitting at 15 kills. Lobs, not to be forgotten, at 12. Big person to watch is certainly for the side of ATL. Been knocked, sitting with 12 kills and constantly knocked and bleeder. Feel like they're the last one standing. They've always got 1 health. They've always got a dream. But that can't be the case this time. You have to be able to control it and not allow things to get that chaotic that quickly.
It's going to be a solar push yet again here for the Blessed. It's what worked in round number 7. Going to lose one early. Zoli, who was so important in that round 7 win, drops off the map, and just like that, Wolves add an advantage. A minute left. Dean downstairs, so close to both Trackers and one more member. Oh, this could be a massive late flank for the Fenrir.
Leader and Trackers trading as well. Now Dean's heading up the stairs. And just through the window, Dean's got the perfect spot here. Dean could make a lot happen. Dean turns the corner, gonna find one instantly. And finds, no, can't find the second! Thors turns it around onto Dean, making it a 2v3, favoring ATL here, not trying to let that match point get in their heads. Dean could not clean it up, and a triple kill comes out from Bleeder to keep them alive, looking to make it tied up at 6 themselves. Last one standing is a Dexy, and that's a tough one to go through, but a Dexy still has health on tap. A Dexy finds one, making it a double kill so far. Bleeder gone, knocked and Explorer, and the last one's left.
What a great take from the Brava drone. That Fenrir mine absolutely backfired there onto Bleeder, got them killed. Now a 2v1 in sight. What can they do?
Noct has a great angle for this. A Dexy trying to take time, but it's going to be tough to break through. Matter of fact, Fisher, I don't know if I like these odds for a Dexy at all. A Dexy going to try to make the play happen, does step through. Not found yet. Shots will ring out. Now found, now gone. It's going to be OT time.
What a round to do it on there for the Wolves, and the early kill onto Zoli on the solar stairs. Really can't ask for a better opening. Such an impactful kill. And you gotta think that round could have been wrapped up a lot quicker. If Dean was literally half a second sooner on the solar stairs there, would have seen the ace swinging in, wouldn't have cost them their life on what could have been a double kill. Now, interestingly, it's gonna be the Blessed on defense here to start. Normally, I'd say that's a good thing, but given the way this game has gone,
not with what we saw.
yeah, we've seen 8 rounds taken by the attackers. The one time, I think, in my Siege career where I might say starting on defense going to be a disadvantage here. And they're going to the kitchen. I think important to note, that is not one of the rounds they won. Or sorry, they did win in round number 6. They also had a pretty bad loss on it back in round number 4. A little bit confused we don't see the upstairs site here from the Blessed, especially right after the Wolves had such a good one.
I can't believe we made it to OT in map 1.
Awesome,
not to derail the analysis too much, but my goodness.
I mean, seeing the excitement early really can't ask for much better than that. Now the Blessed gonna see what they do, and very contrary to the Wolves, only I think had 1, maybe 2 members on site last time we saw them on defense. Granted, it was like 30 minutes ago, so my memory might be a little fuzzy. We're going to see how the Wolves approach this attack again. They've really switched up the pace since that round number 6 side swap. It'd be interesting to see just how quickly they're able to slip into their old ways.
Well, remember, the key for ATL was how slow they took the attacking. They really drained LA Blessed of patience that they just did not have, and that's when LA Blessed started taking gunfights, and when they won them sometimes, it still put them out of position a lot of the time. ATL took their advantage there.
We'll see where they elect to push from. It looks like it's going to be a second floor take, surprising no one. Going to go through the library here, and like we remarked earlier, Los Angeles Blessed have a very, very heavy presence in that upstairs bedroom office area. Going to take a while to break. Dexy, once again, the lone member, going to be on the roam downstairs in the bar. Right next to Gaming, pretty close, almost could find a flank onto Exploring here, but a flank drone set up! Spots a Wamai, a huge opening pick for the Wolves.
An Uno reverse that Fisher might have cursed makes it a 4v5 favoring ATL. Could be more to follow. Explorer now at a decent spot. Is known though, so we'll see where Explorer decides to re-rotate to. Zoli also trying to make something happen. Honestly, if I'm LA Blessed, Zoli's somebody I gotta look to kind of cover up the ground here that you lose with a Dexy.
Gonna see just how quickly Atlanta kind of pushes this now. They do have a Thermite on the main floor, but they don't have a Thatcher, kind of like last time. There's no real way of dealing with that Electro Claw other than droning it and hoping Flores or a frag from Exploring can take it out. Stun grenades ring through. Tracker's gonna be the first one, gets blinded. Uh-oh, Echo in a bad spot.
And Trackers had a really good setup, so being blinded out there has saved ETL from losing a couple members. Now Trackers is in an awful spot and is just stuck, just trapped out. It's still getting stunned out, finally gets dropped. My goodness, 15 splashes and stuns hit that man. Noct will finally get the credit for the kill.
All of Flores' flashes being used. Luckily, though, Noct still has him on the Iona, going to force the defender back downstairs. Thors gets one. Now what are they able to do? Through the floor, a great shot from the Cade. TCSG ringing strong. Only 45 seconds. Is this slow pacing we've been talking about from the Wolves gonna end up being what breaks them?
Bleeders has been such a strong anchor so far for ATL. Bleeder's been their go-to. Last member alive, always with 1 health. It's always Bleeders. Now Bleeder gone early. That makes me worried for who's gonna drop for ATL. Because without Bleeder holding things down, you can find yourselves low end members very quickly. I'm not liking what I'm seeing.
Only 20 seconds to make this execute. I don't know if they've left themselves enough time. They still need to kill 3 members, and it's gonna have to come soon.
Warren has Diffuser as well. Now down below that 10-second mark. A jump down, Lobs was waiting for it. Gonna find 2. Instantly are gone. 2v1, dropping like flies. And the 1v1 attackers will pull through.
In unprobable fashion, Atlanta Wolves are able to claw that one out. I really thought that they had shot themselves in the foot there.
Jaw on the floor.
Gotta give credit. I mean, absolutely have to give credit to the last second attack and the gunshots ringing true. It's a risky play, but I guess if it works, it works. It allowed them to take 4 on offense. Now they're going to be the ones going back upstairs here on defense. And you gotta wonder, even though it's been extremely attacker-sided so far, this has to favor the Wolves. They played this site 3 times. They only lost it on round 7. They won it in round 9. They won it in round 12. Now they're going back to it on round number 14 to find the win. I might be biased here. I think the Wolves have a better chance to end it here than if they get to round 15.
All right. I'm gonna write that one down. That's a statement piece from you.
Bold take, bold take.
Yeah, that one's on the notebook now. Orange pen today, if you were curious. 6 to 7.
I'm using a blue.
ATL now on OT match point. Fisher said this is the one where they should take it. And ATL so far have not really deviated from that strategy of force you to make the mistake. They are going to take their damn time, whether you like it or not.
They're going to, and now we're going to see the strategy from the Wolves one more time. And I know it's been one of the biggest critiques of them this game. Gotta give credit though, it has worked twice on this particular site. And both times it's worked, we've seen a really big focus on Solarium there from the Los Angeles Blessed. Wonder if this time they're going to switch it up, and now there are 2 members off-site instead of just 1 for the Wolves. Bleeder has joined Dinibara.
240 left to go. No chaos yet. Bleeder, I mentioned Fisher, somebody who stays alive. That's a key for ATL. They didn't need it last time. If that happens this time, I'm worried for LA Blessed how to get around it. Adexi was picked early in the previous round, and Adexi has been the main shooter for LA Blessed, but it feels like in the last few rounds, Adexi's been uncharacteristically quiet due to being handled.
Being so close to one, it's the Nox standing feet away. They don't see Adexi. This could be the pick that decides a game. Just turn the corner. Dean looks the wrong way. Oh no. The Nox so close. The Nox not looking. Oh, this could be catastrophic.
Dean just has to figure it out, but isn't so far. Adexi still in the same spot. We're still.
Just look around the corner.
This is insane. Just take a look. Just check it.
Oh my
he
gosh.
sees it, but he moved. Are you kidding?
There's no way. There's no way that's how it happens, and now Adexi knows where they are. But the refrag, it's Bleeder out of the site. What a huge kill from the Warden, and disaster averted. Atlanta Wolves finally get their opening pick halfway through the round.
Bleeder just saved so much. Not to toot my own horn, but I might have called that one. Bleeder pulls through clutch. The Warden saves the day. Danny did not see it, but now Danny gets brought down. Fisher, 1 minute, 20 seconds left. We're at a 4v4 with Zoli cleaning up Danny.
And every member there from the Blessed, except for 1, it was only Thors away from that. I don't know if they're going to realize that. I don't know if Dean was able to get the information before they got killed. 3 members from the Blessed over there by Bar, and yet again, they're going up to Solarium. It's what cost them last game. We're going to see if they were able to right their wrongs. 1 minute left, and 1 round if it's a win here for the Atlanta Wolves. The Blessed need to go massive here, and once again, it's that angle that really messed them up the first time. Going to be Amir's holding it. The Lobs with the big kill before getting traded.
Trades begin, 3v3, 45 seconds left to go. Match point for ATL, number 2 seed, trying to take a map off the number 1 seed out the gate. Ymirz turns the corner, can't find it right away, but will eventually clean it up, making it the 3v2, favoring the side of ATL. A double kill poster for Bleeder, 1 left standing for LA Blessed, and their name is Thors. That's all that ATL have to run into. That's all they have to find, and Thors being so low means trade time. There it is! Explore and finds it! ATL take map 1.
Better circle what I said in the notebook. Atlanta Wolves. Troubles with defense are on both sides all game long, but that's gonna be where they end it in 14 rounds and a huge map number 1 victory. I don't know how many people were expecting that going against the Blessed, but the Wolves just absolutely taking control of that one. What are they gonna be able to do in game 2? Because we're going back to Clubhouse, and while Chalet is a little bit more attacker friendly than some maps, Clubhouse is undebatedly defender-sided.
Not a lot of people expected that, Fisher. If you saw the pre-game prediction on Twitch, you know that the entire Twitch economy of Hyper Series GG just went up in flames. That's kind of where we were at with predictions going into this.
No better time than playoffs for an upset. Important to note, though, if you are a Los Angeles fan, even if they do end up losing this set, which, you know, there's still time, they're the number 1 seed for the reason, they can absolutely come back into it. They just go down to the loser side of the bracket. It's a 2-and-out tournament. It's not a one-and-done. Not the end of the road here for whichever team that loses. But if you're the Blessed, and I'm looking more for a mental standpoint, not necessarily from their in-game actions, what do you have to do to turn it around into game 2? If you're that team captain, what are you saying in comms right now to get your guys back on track?
I mean, the first thing I'm doing is I'm calling, because there's going to be frustrations. The first thing I'm doing is saying, all right, get it out, you know, take 15 seconds and everybody be pissed. Everybody yell at each other. All right, we good? Now, somebody speak up. What was the problem? And I'm hoping, I'm absolutely on my knees begging that somebody says the problem was that they were allowing ATL to control the pace of every single round, and that allowing Atlanta to let every little tiny speckle of sand drip through the hourglass is maybe not the way they should go about these maps.
The one thing I'm going to be really interested to see, at least on Atlanta's standpoint, I know it was a big talking point. Obviously, they're pacing not only on offense, but on defense as well. Those strats they did, obviously now heading over to Clubhouse. And I think really unlike this map, that's one place where vertical control really only matters for the basement. And even so, you can kind of get around it. It's going to be a map that plays much more into Atlanta's hands. So if I'm Los Angeles, I would be a little nervous. And I said it in game 1 where you need to have a good defensive split in order to really carry yourself momentum. And last time they were able to make up for it on offense. I don't know if they can this time. This is one where you need to win your defensive half to really have a chance to win this map.
Well, real quick, before we get into map number 2, we are going to cut to a break. Don't go anywhere in Hyper Series GG so you don't miss how this amazing series concludes. Hello and welcome back. I hope you missed me because I always miss you. Welcome back to Hyper Series GG. We've got map 2 coming up between Los Angeles Blessed, number 1 seed, and Atlanta Wolves, number 2 seed. Atlanta Wolves currently up 1-0. My name's Anthony Mount, joined by King Fisher with back on production, and as you can see, it looked fantastic. Fisher, we talked a bit about it off air. LA Blessed coming into this second map have got to change the way they approach the Wolves.
They have to. We've seen already that these are two teams with two very different play styles. And I was a little bit surprised game one because normally the team with a faster play style, that relies a little bit more on gun skill. I'm obviously thinking about the Los Angeles Blessed here, can kind of come out and surprise the Wolves. But like you said, at least on defense and on offense, they were letting the Wolves kind of dictate the pace, They were making Los Angeles play that slow, more reserved style siege. Really want them to just open it up here in map number 2, really put the pedal to the metal here, and do what they do best. And like we remarked at the start of the game, we'll touch on it again here, they are going to be on defense first. This is a defender-sided map. So for me, I'm thinking spawn peaks, I'm thinking heavy roam, do whatever you need to do to get those early gunfights going your way.
And something that I want to go back to that you made, because you made a huge deal about it in the very first pick and ban phase of map 1. And it proved to be incredibly important for how the entirety of the map would play out. You said Los Angeles Blessed could not afford to split. They had to go either 4-1 or 3-2, I believe it was. We ended up seeing ATL go 4-1 up on LA Blessed, and then LA Blessed came back, but they could never recover from that initial disaster. What are you looking for this time?
It feels a little bit cheap to go back to my same prediction, but it's really got to be the same. In a series like that first game especially, where I'm just going to disregard the map, but where the attack wins, I think it was overall 9 out of the 14 rounds, every single map or every single round you get on defense is going to be important, and that obviously is going to carry over into this. More than that, it's something we keep saying, it's going to be a confidence thing. You got to get your feet back under you. You have to make yourselves comfortable in your gameplay, and there's no better way to do that than rattling off a lot of rounds really quickly. Not going to see the bans this time around. Atlanta Wolves takes out a Mira, which I think is really smart. We didn't see it a whole ton on Chalet, but Mira on Clubhouse is a very scary defender to go against.
Oh, Fisher. We always find ourselves in chaotic playoff series like this. I feel like we never get anything normal. It's always upsets, it's chaos, it's shocking defeats, it's Cinderella stories. We never just see the 1 seed be a 1 seed.
No, the only time we see that is when it's in finals and it's like a 3-0 sweep. Because seriously, every time we got finals.
So true.
Every time. I mean, it kind of makes me happy though, because we get to at least cast a lot of really interesting siege in the interim here. And seeing the first round, obviously one defender that should pop right off your screen, going to be Solis, banned out in Chalet. Going to be really important on this map. So many sites you can really just deny the plant from underneath, or even above, if you can find a really nice flank onto Kitchen. When they're in the basement, they are electing for Armory Church here first. Not normally seen too much. I think teams really tend to prioritize that CCTV cache, but this one, the only vertical pressure site on the map, we talked about it a lot on Chalet, but this is really the only one where it comes into play. So I'll be interested to see how many defenders the Blessed are going to leave off site, because that was one really big difference between them and the Wolves. They roamed a lot more often and a lot more consistently.
Well, at least this time, Fisher, just to go back, we're casting what a lot of people thought would be the finals if ATL had not been answered so strongly and so figured out by Calgary, and it's living up to it, because while yes, it was a shocking fact that ATL took map 1, it was still close, it was still back and forth, and heading in the map 2, out the gate, Los Angeles Blessed looking for a new mindset to try to answer ATL, and we'll see if ATL will go for the same strategy of drowning things out and putting a chokehold on the game.
Already seen a very extended hold here from the Blessed. And if we're like ignoring gameplay, ignoring the map, ignoring the operators for a second, somebody that has to repeat what they did in game 1 has to be a Dexy, but it's going to be Zoli, this time on the Warden, that 1.5 optic doing its thing, able to take out Joey Lipton, who I don't believe we saw last game. I think that's a sub there from the Wolves.
So much to talk about, we couldn't even really see that it was a sub. split both of our
Attackers have dropped
brains,
the
but
bomb
yes,
diffuser.
ATL rocking Joey Lipton this time. Joey did not get to see the map for long. Zoli gonna
Oh.
find Dean with an absolute pop. 5-3 out the gate. Zoli continuing right where he left off, finds another fight, backs off at the perfect time, does get hit once. So the Warden doing Warden things at the gate, Fisher.
The Warden picking up the
Alright.
hard breach early. Only problem is there's 2 other hard breachers on the map here for Atlanta. Almost shoots her own teammate. Now Tracker's taking a lot of damage. Los Angeles have to be careful. They have some low health bars now, and if they overpeak this, it can be a 3v3 in a really,
knocked.
really big hurry. Oh, is not going to see them?
If
I think
not,
they do.
see,
They do.
the angle just doesn't work.
Oh, just pre-fire.
Nox about to break the desk in half, and this happens. Nox just broke their desk in half, 100%. Tracker's gonna find it. Just didn't have the right angle, but couldn't. Oh God, Fisher, that one hurt. Oh, not
Monitor
again!
and Wilbur
Bleeder
Shatter,
gonna
but they
find
get an
the
answer.
Solely. It's just, it's constant accidental angles. It's just slow walks into being erased.
They got Goyo trapped.
What is this, round 1?
Goyo gonna have to avoid the stun grenades. Can waste so much time here if Atlanta don't kill them, and they don't! One more dies! How are they letting Trackers do it? Trackers cannot get the lasso. Explorin finally gets it, and a few extra shots of frustration. 3v1, 50 seconds though. This could be a very big opening round here for the Blessed.
They needed that so bad. They had to change things coming out, and with a Dexy finding the kill with the P90 there, they will do it. What a round 1.
Exactly what we wanted to see from Los Angeles. Those early round gunfights, the peaks out of the building, net them 2 huge kills, turns into 3 more. Exactly what we needed to see from the Blessed. Not only a big opening win, but it's a pace setter. You know they're going to be able to do the same thing. Now going to gym bedrooms, still avoiding that CCTV sight. Looks like they're a little split, so might change it at the last second just to mess with me again. That happened like 3 times in the first game.
One thing I want to talk about is the map 1. The predictions were so heavily focused on LA Blast, and map 2, Fisher, 54% have voted for the Atlanta Wolves to take it. So LA
Attackers
Blast
need to
have
locate
been
and
flip-flopped
defuse
on
bombs.
by the Hyper Series viewers tonight.
If that's not what you call a bandwagon fan, I don't know what it. No, I'm messing with y'all. I mean, really hard to bet against the Wolves, gotta say, after that opening map. They look so confident so early on that it'd really be hard pressed to bet against either of these teams, quite honestly. They both did a lot of things very well. Now, one thing that's always going to be important on this site is how heavy the hold is in CCTV cache. It's not where the bombs are located, but it's always a really important one to hold. The attackers can apply so much pressure into logistics, into bedroom, if they control this east side of the map.
5 seconds
And I like the
left
setup we're
before
seeing so
insertion.
far. Full reinforcements, mute jammers, you're going to have some Wamai magnets over
Attackers
there.
must locate
And
defuse
how
the
long Los
bomb.
Angeles is able to hold that is going to be huge. I'd really expect a lot of Atlanta's time to be invested into that left side.
If they do that, if they invest a lot of that time, how do you think that kind of plays through though? I mean, I'm not trying to be the silly elaborate, but elaborate where you can.
Do you mean on the time aspect? Like what happens
Correct,
if they see
yes.
so much? Well, you kind of have to, because not only is it one really good place to apply pressure from the offense, it's a really safe escape for the defenders. If you push from Jacuzzi side and not anywhere else, it's very easy for defenders to fall off site, to get back in. The further you can box them in, the better it's going to be. Notably, no defenders in the cash room for right now. But it's a worthy investment from these attackers. And with only a mute jammer, you think they could probably just shoot it from that bedroom window. They don't have any Thatcher, they don't have any impact EMPs, but that Jacuzzi wall still shouldn't be too big of a burden. Now with this Azami and Castle playing in construction, they have a nasty pixel peak.
Gonna be definitely tough for Bleeder here, but wow, Tracker's gonna drop right before seeing Bleeders. Joey Lipton currently has some damage on, looking for a better round 2 after coming out as a sub in round 1, getting instantly picked off. So far has made it further. Trouble brewing certainly for ATL. They're in tough spots, but LA Blessed have yet to find any picks out of those tough spots, despite having such good positioning around, like Fisher was mentioning.
Now more than half the round wasted, Atlanta Wolves slowly but surely making their way through. Ash now has gained control of the CCTV cache room. But this is a really spread out attack here from the Wolves. I'm interested to see where their main alley is going to be. Because it looks right now they're going to rely on just a series of one-on-one picks.
Attackers
it
have
feels like a
located
page
bomb.
out of the LA Blessed book from the previous map to take those 1v1s and try to rely on gun skill. It feels like the combination with the drowning of the game, choking the game out. Now 50 seconds left to go, and Dean so close to picks, but just still nothing to come from it. Finally, the first drop. It's Joey Lipton finding one, but it's traded back instantly as trackers will clean up. Joey and Dean still able to be picked up, but out of the gate, Fisher, 4-4, 35 seconds left. Not ideal, certainly, but ATL coming alive. Not going to find two at the gate, making it a 2-4. Not stopping yet. Bleeder gets one. Zoli's trying to hang on. Did get rid of Knock. Got rid of one issue, but there's plenty more to go. Zoli turns, sees one, makes it a 1v2. Can Zoli pull it off? Is the question. Dean is low. Explorin's not completely healthy. If Zoli runs into one here, it could be another. It's going to be close. Just have to turn the right head. Turns it, finds a triple kill, makes it happen with 4!
There are no words. There are absolutely no words. What a clutch from Zoli. 1v4. Holy moly, Zoli. There's absolutely no way that happens. And they knew where the thorn was. Habana was looking at the gun barrel. I don't think she saw it. That is tragic for the Wolves as they feel round 2 slip through their fingers. And forget a momentum getter. How about a momentum killer there from the Wolves? That's going to be a really tough one to come back from.
And you want to talk about momentum killer? What a spark igniter for LA Blessed.
Igniter doesn't even begin to cover it. That has to be just so insane. And after game 1, where we almost saw a few clutches from a few different members too, to finally get one has to be huge for the members of the Blessed there, feeling like their namesake. But now, still a lot of work left to do. They do have CCTV, which is arguably one of the strongest sites on this map. Saving it for round 3, gonna really put the pressure onto the Wolves here. We talked a lot about getting that momentum on defense early on, but on offense, this is a site where you can easily slip to an 0-3.
That'd be problematic for ATL. One thing LA Blessed did not have on their side last time was they did not have a lead. Remember the split? Remember me asking Fisher again? Now you're starting to see why it matters so much. They're up 2-0 now. Did not have that same luxury last time, and ATL, when they got to LA Blessed being the attackers, were able to sort of hold on, and that's when LA Blessed made their time up. If LA Blessed find themselves better on attack, taking advantage of the slow play of ATL, Fisher, they could be into a perfect storm.
They could. Gonna be interesting to see which team is gonna come flying out of the gates with this one. And this is a really important round for the Wolves, not only to help even up the score, but get your minds back in it. That can be a really tough break when you were so close to winning that round and it just slips away. So they need this one, not for momentum, maybe not even for the score. It's just you gotta hang in it with this one. We'll see how they approach it.
2 minutes, 20 seconds left to go. We're on with Joey Lipton. Joey had a better round, but still kind of looking to get comfortable. And it's a sub for ATL at the gate. Not easy to come in fresh, but almost found a pick right out the gate. And actually could be set up for a decent peak here as well. Dexy, also somebody we have to keep our eyes on, had such a crazy map 1. And always potential for Dexy to pop off again. And of course, Zoli. Zoli is coming in as strong-minded as possible. Shots do ring through. No picks found. Joey Lipton the lowest on the map currently, but still no picks yet to be found from anyone. Exploring with Diffuser also has gotten a shot or 2 off. Finally, somebody runs into somebody, and it's Bleeder just walking past a Dexy. That's going to be a pick for Dexy. Continuing that up. Joey Lipton going to get caught from behind and dropped for a 5v3, favoring LA Blessed. Doesn't stop there. That's another for Lobs. Double kill. 5v2 out the gate, looking to make it 3-0.
That has to be a communication breakdown there from the Wolves as they lose a 4th member. It's only Explorin. Not much hope and not much life either. It's a flawless round from the Blessed. And, I don't know how that even happened. They knew Solis was in the room. They knew that Mozzie got the kill after the first one, but a second dies. That's dangerous for the Wolves. That was not a good loss.
So here's what's interesting, and this is something you and I have learned from competitive esports in general, Fisher. When the underdog comes out, and they do take map 1, but they have to go the distance. And then the second we get to that next map, number 1 seed comes out, they make it 3-0. It starts to, I'm not calling it a fluke by any stretch of the imagination, but it starts to feel like, oh no, did they figure it out? And these are two teams who are number 1 seed, number 2 seed, not the fairest way to put it,
Attackers
certainly.
need to
It does
locate
not
and
mean
defuse
that they
the bomb.
aren't as evenly matched as could be. Again, this was what a lot of people expected the finals to be. But it's just still worth keeping in mind that maybe this is that LA Blessed that are the 1 seed, and maybe it just took some livening for it to come out.
They've come out with a vengeance here. It's not only been 3 offense wins, it's been 3 big offense wins. Almost a loss turned into one of the biggest plays of the entire day there was Zoli, as we're seeing on the replay here. Had no business winning the 1v4, but did it
10
anyway.
seconds left
Switching the
before
tides, everybody spectating, no cams. Just a great win from the Thorn. And yeah, question just remains, where do the Wolves go from here? They're going back down the stairs where they didn't have a very convincing attack. But a lot of early kills were what kind of paved the way for Bless to win that round. Oh, it was so clean. So if you're here for the Wolves, you're hoping they're a little bit better prepared. Zoli playing the same angles last time, and maybe if they don't lose those 2 early on, we can see a different outcome here for Atlanta.
And just hope you don't run into Zoli anymore.
That's also pretty important. Yep.
Maybe hope the router gets unplugged by a vacuum or something. That might help out.
There you go, sabotage by a known family member just trying to do some cleaning. Could be brutal. Hopefully, for all you Los Angeles fans, won't see that, though. If you want to talk about the death team, one have to mention Zoli here in Game 2. 6 kills, 1 death, 1 clutch. And really important. They've spotted out Zoli. They know the warden's on the stairs. Solis playing a little game of cat and
Oh
mouse
my
with the
God.
drone. Gonna give up.
Ankles
They
are
do get Zoli on
shattered.
the stairs.
Explore with the big pick. That does set up ATL for possibly their best round so far. Not having to deal with the demon that has been Zoli so far. See how much it matters. Now 1:55 left to go.
And no Kaid to stop the Electroclaw there. An impact grenade is going to settle it, though. Thors gets one from underneath, so that's 4 Hibana pellets down. Solis finally gets the drone upstairs and gonna catch some bullets, but no, gets Bleeder first. A huge kill from Adexi.
Adexi back to form. Said Zoli can't have all the fun so far early. A flash finds the way of Nox. Shots do ring out. Not going to find anything through that flash. Now, Adexi could be in trouble, but is able to turn it. Just has to turn the corner at the right time. We've seen this a few times. This time it works out for Adexi. He does find the pick on the knock. Looks down, finds another. Could make it into a triple kill. It will be 2 remaining on the map for ATL. And Adexi is feeling themselves all of a sudden. A 4th gets dropped. It's Joey Lipton. They're gone. Explorin has a good angle here if there's 1 step forward, but stops looking at it at the worst time. Looks back, and it's too late. Lobs is taking you down. It's a round 4 victory for LA Blessed.
It's another thumping. They got 1 kill onto Zoli early on. But how about Los Angeles coming back with a vengeance here in game number 2? Trying to show the world game 1 was a fluke. The Atlanta Wolves aren't the number 1 seed for a reason. And they're doing it here. Atlanta. And we talked about first game, wanting to see a tactical timeout for the Blessed. I'd argue it's almost necessary here for the Wolves. You've lost 4 straight. You need to take a step back. You need to get your mind back under you. Because it's been 4 brutal losses. There really haven't been any close rounds yet.
Yeah, tactical timeout and, I don't know, down some game fuel. But maybe light some incense and clear the mojo in the room. Gotta do something. It's a completely different ATL than what we saw. The map 1, Atlanta Wolves, to me, was making me feel like I was, you know, it was more of a finals that we would see at something like a LAN.
It really does seem that way. And also, very important to note, it's Atlanta's map pick that they're really struggling on. They chose to go to Clubhouse. They chose to attack from the start. We still don't see the timeout. I'd almost argue they need that mental reset. I don't know if it's something they considered already, or maybe it's something they've kind of forgotten, because it started like an hour and 40 minutes ago. The set did. This is the map they're supposed to be popping off at. This is where they're supposed to be really showing the Blessed what happens, but it just hasn't. But this was one of their best sides. They did have it to a 4v1, weren't quite able to get the diffuser, so you gotta think at least there's some level of confidence even after that clutch by Zoli heading into the site.
ATL need the change of fates this time out. They've got to get through not just Zoli. They got to get through a Dexy. They've got to deal with Trackers, who's been insane, and then get through all that. Lobs is always waiting. Lobs seems to be the cleanup crew, and Thors has been quiet so far in this map. But don't forget what Thors did in map 1.
Doors absolutely popped off. Are we going to see it happen again? Atlanta Wolves still trying to take this one back. Ash gonna try to deal with one of those castle barricades. Will do it successfully. And with all these zombie barricades, we really don't see any other explosives here. There are some frag grenades, but more importantly, there's a dead Adexi. What an opening pick there by Dean. And a huge one onto the Azami. The rest of the Kiba barrier is gone. But more importantly, the top fragger for Los Angeles off the map.
Does history repeat, though? Does Zully pick up the mantle and cover with Adexi gone? That seems to be the case. It's always one of the two of them, and they pick up where the other one falls. So we'll see if that happens here, or if ATL can take just too much control and control the pace too much. Thor's about to run into trouble. Is aware of it, turns, sees the drone. It's going to reveal where Thor's is and put him in a bad spot. But he's going to win the fight anyway. Does trade out thanks to Joey Lipton being there for ATL. But now 3-4 favoring the side of ATL since that first pick of Adexi. 120 left to go. More picks ring out. Lob's Blessing going to find Explorer and Fisher.
They do find Explorer and Trackers now trying to deal with the member outside. Trackers pushing back into Cash. This might be trouble for them. Wamai going to run right into the gridlock. Doesn't step through the wall, though. Goes back into logistics. Wamai safe for the time being. Two members on the windows. Atlanta, they need Joey to stay alive. They're their only presence inside, and they get the kill. Huge pick from the gridlock.
Joey Lipton showing up as a sub. Triple kill for Joey Lipton through it! Does anyone want to not be a playmaker so far in this map? This time, it's for ATL 1v3. Last one standing is Lobs, and Joey Lipton's close to it. Lobs going to peek out, but he's looking that wrong way, but turns and sees and is able to find the pick on the knocked, but can't close it out quite yet. Is down low. Has to go for the escape now, Fisher, but Joey Lipton is hot on the case. Lobs not going to be alive for long. If things live out this way, 20 seconds remain. Diffuser going down from Bleeder. It's going to force the hand of Lobs, who is 1 HP. Not going to work out. Joey Lipton going to clean it up and finish off that triple kill.
Lobs killed that player that hopped in the window, and I immediately thought, it's going to happen again. They're going to clutch again. Not going to happen this time for Los Angeles Blessed. Atlanta Wolves able to get the Diffuser down, and more importantly, get the kills to follow it up. And if you were wondering, don't worry, it's not wall. That had to be a drone in garage. What a shot from the gridlock. Absolutely shutting the flank down. That could have been big. We talked about right before they went into construction how important of a member Joey was going to be in that take, subbing in and immediately finding an impact. No better way to do it. 4 kills in that round for the gridlock. Really doesn't get much better.
Yeah, thankfully, if you attached any hacks to a PS4, it would turn into a pipe bomb. So we're safe in that aspect.
Your bombs from being defused by attackers.
No hacks today, as now they're going back to CCTV.
I love stun locking you and stuff like that. Sorry, it's my favorite pastime.
You do it pretty effectively, I gotta say. You in fact do it better than most. I'm going back to CCTV Cash, and they have Bandit, so the Thatcher might not be the best choice here. I'm interested to see if they drove this out. They might elect to send Dean underneath, try to use that breaching round on the floor, because otherwise Thor's just going to be able to deny this wall. In CCTV, it's pretty easy to do that. The drone hole is hard to get a good nade from. The window is covered up by an indestructible shelf and a bomb chassis. So Thor's is going to be a huge part of this round. Only 1 kill on the board through 5 rounds, but going to be a really pivotal member in this defense.
The one thing that could be really bad, because we talked a lot about mental so far, if LA Blast do start to fall apart here on round 6 with the 4-1, we can kind of have a reverse of what happened in the previous map. I think it would hit LA Blast harder than the way that it hit ATL. Because LA Blast are now thinking they're comfortable, and if ATL can change it, they could rock their worlds.
We'll see what they're able to do with it here. Thor's still waiting on that wall, waiting for a member to come close. Joey Lipton, so important in the last round, but going to be gone early in this one. Lobs gets the opening kill. Mozzie's been having a good time. More damage. Here comes a thermite. Bandit wasn't ready for it.
This could be problematic. Got it.
He got it. Oh, what clutch timing. I didn't think they were going to be early enough to that. Great play by Thor's to keep it closed.
2 minutes, 5 seconds left. Things finally calm down for even a second. And ATL, strike team formation, ready to go, Fisher. How can they get through to this? They've still got Zully to deal with and Adexi. One of the keys has been cleaning up at least one of the two, so you don't have to deal with both gunnies.
I think even more important would be getting lobs from below. It'll allow you to open up that CCTV wall, but it's not the focus. Dexy's sitting here in gym and they haven't seen it. Explorin is close by, and more importantly, Dean is about to walk through that wall, and I don't think they've drone them out. Dexy gonna drop though just in time. Almost got shot through the wall with Explorin. So Solis gonna try to find their way back up. Might run into Noct. This is some dangerous territory here for Dexy.
Finding ourselves back in that position of being able to know what's happening when the others don't. And how crazy close it is. Not going to be in trouble if we turn that corner into a Dexy. A Dexy will certainly be ready and waiting for it. There's the fight, but a Dexy does not get the better of it. Noct does. Noct able to stay alive too and find a double kill through and takes out Trackers through the wall. Noct clutching one out there. What was a tough fight and with barely any health remaining.
I would just start destroying the walls if I were defenders or reinforcing him because you've been killed through him twice. It's becoming Atlanta's calling card. Now 50 seconds is going to start to push onto site. And that catch wall is still closed. Ooh, but just a drone taken out there. They might know some intel, but this is going to be a really difficult take here for Atlanta.
LA, holding a strong spot. It slowed ATL down for the moment and probably not for the best for ATL. They love to play slow, but in this scenario, it just allows them to set up more. Diffuser dropped as well.
Only 20 seconds, and they have to push through the doors. No thermite charges. It's got to be all gun skill here for the Wolves, and only 10 seconds.
So we're gonna find Bleeder. That makes it a 3v3. And Lob's gonna find Explorin with the explosion. Now 3-2, but time running out. Kills still drop. Lob's gonna get cleaned up by Dean. It's gonna be a close one, Fisher, but it's gonna go the way of the defenders this round.
Wouldn't have expected anybody other than Lobs to be the one lobbing the C4, getting the kill, and a really nice end there for the Bless. It is, and we saw Atlanta Wolves do this one time on Chalet, where they had 4 people with 3 alive in 10 seconds, and somehow managed to get the win. It's not going to be the case this time. I know it surprised both of us on that last map. I'm sure everybody in chat too. But this is a theme we've seen for the Wolves. They play it really slowly, and they didn't have enough time to execute. I think losing that thermite charge on the wall, a huge clutch from Thor's to keep that closed, really threw a wrench in the plans of Atlanta. But now I'm interested to see what do they do on defense. This is a site and a map they can turtle on, but I really don't want to see it. I don't know if that strategy is going to work again against LA.
You have been sick of turtling for the majority of 2 maps, but I don't know if it's
until I don't like paper straws.
Yeah, I can. You're like the dude who says give me some fin, but he's getting choked out by Bogoslav from a 6-pack.
I don't understand a word of that reference you just made.
Have you not watched Finding Nemo, you psychopath?
Maybe when I was a kid.
Oh my god. Anyway, I'm now casting this with a broken heart, I guess.
Sorry. Tell you what, I'll go rewatch it right after this game. You have my word.
Dude, I mean, I know it's a bird, but dude, your name is King Fisher. Go put on Finding Nemo and have some culture.
That's true. Nobody ever gets that. Kingfisher's a bird, not a fish. Nobody ever
Speaking
knows.
of culture, check out the Atlanta Wolves jersey. Jersey's fantastic looking. Anyway, round 7. 2 minutes 50 seconds left to go, and LA Blessed, the diffuser on Thors, will step up. ATL, we'll see how slow they play this defense.
It's going to be interesting. Haven't seen a look inside the map just yet. Wondering how many players they do have outside of sight. Luckily, though, with that cap can, with how fast, and we've talked about this, Los Angeles Blessed play the map fast. They have fast attacks. I mean, look at that. The floor is opening 30 seconds into the round. We wanted to see it on Chalet, better late than never. They've recognized the Wolves strat, and 40 seconds in, the hatch is open. This is record pace here for the Blessed.
Sprinting through, on board with Zoli. Has potential for a pick out the gate.
No, the rumors are.
ATL could be in trouble. The drone gets thrown forward. That's information for Zoli. That's problems, but Dexy gets picked up by Joey Lipton. Massive there. For ATL, Joey Lipton has come alive when needed most so far and is proving to be a needed shooter for Atlanta, and it's been a difference maker, but now with the 4v5, it has to continue forward. Otherwise, LA will find themselves a match point. Plays like that will help out. Dean finds Zoli through the wall. 3v5. LA Blessed just hanging on.
What a kill by Dean. They have them stranded on this side of the map, too. Finally going to dedicate some members. All 3 Blessed now looking this way. Thors puts on a breach charge. Dean didn't hear it.
To be too little too late by the time they go over. Dean not going to be able to catch up on it right away, Fisher. This is problems. ATL going to be in trouble further. That's a pick on Dean. Trucker's going to find it now, 3v4. You called it, you said it. You need to hear, you need to see. Spectator
Great
view would be
point from
nice, but you
Joey.
got to figure out what's on the map.
Joey downs Twitch. I don't know if they notice that, though, because the Twitch is going to stay down. There are some impacts in pocket there. Joey Lipton might have been able to close that one out, but now Lobs with 20 HP. Joey's still off site here. Could go big, massive later. Door breaks immediately to their left, now 50 seconds. The Blessed have opened up a lot of the map, but now they need to start getting these kills because the Wolves with the man advantage is a really scary thought. Here comes one, though. Oh, no, turns away.
Joey Lipton going to find it anyway and turn the corner and pick up Thor's 2v4. That's all that's left on the map for LA Blessed is those two. Make it one with Lobs getting blown up.
Didn't know when it would come. It was now. Now Thatcher might find a kill from behind. Hiding behind the wall. Looks the wrong way.
And turns. It's too late. Joey Lipton cleans it up yet again. Trackers goes down. That's a round for the Wolves.
A good round, too. I know we were both a little bit nervous. Not only about seeing the Wolves on defense after Los Angeles had a good attack last map, but with seeing just how well Los Angeles played those starters. Wolves, though, not affected. Gotta give credit to them. Now going up to Gym Bedroom. Both these teams really just ignoring CCTV cache. Perplexing to me, but there's got to be some sort of thought behind it. If both are doing it, maybe it's just a meta strat that I'm not familiar with yet. So we're going to see how they can pull it off, because they had two solid attacks against it. They won one of them, almost won the second. So maybe this site not as defender-sided as we kind of would have been expecting.
Yeah, definitely not. LA Blessed up 5-2. ATL at this point just trying to stay alive. And Fisher, I mean, I'll keep it real. I am not the R6 connoisseur of the two of us, but is that a Blackbeard?
Well, not anymore. It got changed. I think it was.
It did? It got changed at the last second? Okay. I saw it for so long. I looked away and I wasn't sure, and I was looking around. I wanted to make sure. I was panicking. I was like, wait, I'm not prepped for this. This is supposed to not be here. Should have locked it in.
The one person out of the 70 we left out of the notes. Yeah, Blackbeard.
Literally.
Not locked in. I don't know if we've seen a Blackbeard this season in Hyper Series. There had to be one at some point. I gotta show my bias a little. I am a huge Blackbeard fan. I don't think the operator's good. I think he's fun. There's a very important difference there. Would have loved to see it. Would have loved the confidence. And if you're going to pull it out on any site, this might be the one to do it. There's a lot of windows, and that's really where Blackbeard kind of shines, being able to challenge those angles that are normally really detrimental to attackers. So would have been the place for it, but probably a good thing that we don't see it.
And every game, you always got the hot takes, but no Blackbeard today. We'll be sad. More important things at hand. Round started. LA Blessed still trying to get their way to match point. ATL put up a fight when they needed to, but they did let the beginning get away from them. Never too late to come alive, however. Bleeder in a decent spot, Fisher, on this offense here, or excuse me, this defense. And for the offense, Zoli already dropped it low, and we talked a million times about Zoli and how important Zoli is to the effort of LA Blessed. With Zoli falling low already, that does hamper the efforts.
A good change here for Atlanta. We didn't see it from Los Angeles, but they're putting a lot of attention onto this cash room, at least from the defense side. We saw them lose it very early on when Los Angeles was on defense, but now that Drone Azoli might have spotted out Joey Lipton on the stairs. Did a really good job getting out of harm's way when the frag grenades started flying. With Capcan downstairs too, Dean going for a very extended peek, I think. Gonna try to see one on the windows, and there is one located out there for the Blessed. Can the Capcan find the angle?
And the Capcan can.
Well, so far the Capcan can.
Sorry, I couldn't resist it.
I can tell. It's okay.
It's a slow start to round 8 so far. 1 minute 15 left, but finally kill starts popping as Lobs Blessing's gonna pop Bleeder. Zoli gonna find Joey Lipton, and all of a sudden things are falling apart for ATL. LA Blessed looking for that match point. Exploring does keep ATL on the board, but all of a sudden it's 4-2. You just got knocked and Dean left standing. Can they make it happen? Knock's gonna find Zoli out the gate. Lobs finds the double. Just one person, just a knock standing between ATL and a match point for LA Blessed. Has a nice angle, has a nice view of A, but ultimately, Fisher, we've seen this task be so impossible so far. The flash not going to help things out. Knock tries to reposition to find something, anything. Sends a frag towards A, not gonna find. Will find it!
Attackers have recovered.
What? Gets the diffuser down too! It's picked up. Being planted now. Pre-firing comes out from Noct. Needs to find it. Turns. It's so close, Fisher, but Noct is making this happen. Keeps stopping the plan. Turns the corner once again, trying to do it again. Not gonna find it right away. It's gonna go down, but the legs were exposed, and Adexi takes down Noct.
Such a good attempt from Noct. Atlanta Wolves almost get that one back, but went around for the blast. And now, more importantly, forget about overtime on the last map. It is match point on only round number 9 here. Atlanta's got to be flawless from now on out. And it wasn't exactly a hot take earlier with the Blackbeard, but I got to make one now. We've seen Jim played 3 times. Attack, rather, I believe, has won every time. They need to stop going to Jim.
Okay. Say your
Ooh.
truth. We do have a timeout
Thank you. Thank you.
being used. It has taken a while, but it was held onto by ATL, and they decided the match point for LA Blessed was the time to use it.
I'm glad we are seeing the timeout used from one of the teams here. Like we said, I think we were talking about after, I think it was round 4 when Los Angeles won the second time around on Church, that we wanted to see it from Atlanta to get themselves back into it. But now splitting 2-2 in the last 4 rounds, they've got to win 4 straight here. So at least they're taking an extra minute to talk things out, figure out what they want to do. I'm a little bit worried that it might be too late. You can't just change up strats like this on a whim. You got to assume they're talking something over, figuring out what they want to do on defense. But they don't have any wiggle room. You have to be perfect from now on out in order to force us into overtime. As excited as we are to see Nighthaven Labs for map number 3, I really don't think Atlanta wants to get to that point.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
I'd have to agree, but I mean, Fisher, you and I, and of course production, we're always selfish. We want games to go as long as possible. And for me, that requires an insane comeback for ATL. So I'm not saying I'm rooting for ATL, but I'm saying I'm rooting for ATL.
Bold. To say it openly.
Just to
Let's see
force
how
the
it-
chaos. I have no preference otherwise. I just like the
There you go,
chaos.
there you go. I feel like that's a fair take. Hopefully that's a respectable take. Not what I'm gonna make, but we'll see. Regardless of how this map
Sorry,
does,
whatever, nerd.
Okay. Even if it is Los Angeles in 9 here, if they are able to take this last round, at least we might see a game 3. Atlanta has a lot of work to do. It'd be an unprecedented comeback if they're able to win this 1 in 2 maps. But like we said, they ought to be on it. And what member has to step up for you? If you're looking at this whole roster, obviously Joey Lipton subbing in for Emirs. Emirs did a really good job in map number 1, but Joey's been on it. What other member here for Atlanta do you think really needs to pop off?
I mean, we've been looking at Noct the entire time, surely, but Dean has been kind of the quiet force that always finds themselves in the right places at the right time. So for me, I'm going to have to go with Dean. But I won't forget about Bleeder. Bleeder has been an anchor. I keep pointing it out, and always the last one standing. And okay,
There's
I won't say Dean anymore. Goodness gracious, Lobs, let me talk.
Oh, and that's not the start you needed. Lobs with 2 straight. Dean and Joey, 2 of the most consistent members of the Atlanta Wolves, fall early. And it's always too early to call, but it might start looking like map number 3. Oh, Noct looks away from the angle at the wrong time. Oh, Seed chiming at its worst there. Could have been a huge kill onto Lobs.
Lob's not letting anybody talk, and we'll definitely be looking for more. Noct gonna stay up here and see what's possible. Does run into a drone. It's reveal time. Shots rain through. Thoris unable to find anything so far. Couldn't even get a shot on. Tracker's also in some trouble in the meantime, and everybody in LA Blessed feels like they're taking damage. And Noct's gonna clean up too! Out of nowhere, making it a 3v3. Noct coming alive. It's all of a sudden a 2v3, but it favors
Is
ATL.
AFK?
Adexi
What?
is not there. Adexi goes AFK at what is the worst time for LA
No.
Blessed.
I don't think anybody had that on their playoff bingo cards. Round on the line, 2-man advantage was really a 1-man advantage. Maybe we were just overhyping it a little bit. And assuming Adexi doesn't get back, we can't count on wild cards here. It's going to have to be a 1v3 for Lobs. Use both their nades only as 1 drone left. And nobody to help. Knows that Noct is in garage.
Oh, Adexi's back!
Look at Adexi go!
Somebody woke Adexi up. We got a chance now. Nox still standing up as well. Adexi gonna turn, look for Nox right away, takes the shots out, but Adexi not able to find it, has not got the safety just in time. Uses the drone for vision. Lob's gonna find a triple kill now for Lobs.
For the ace.
They know where more are, and Lobs wants that ace, and Bleeder does not want to let it happen. Bleeder and Explorer are gonna group up and try to stop it where they can. Keep back control. They don't want to give up this map. Not yet. Not that they can stay alive. Adexi looking to break through, looking to stand strong. Exploring. We'll set up with Bleeder. Problems at the gate. Lob's still looking for that ace. Explorer now hurt.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Lob's looking for it. Gonna turn. Gonna be picked up and dropped by Adexi, and Lobs is gone. It's now a 1v1, and Adexi's gonna get the better of it from AFK to Hero. It's gonna go the way of LA Blast.
Nothing like some late round heroics. Comeback of the century. Adexi makes it back to the controller and is able to get there to win the round. And as good as Lobs was doing, I don't think we would have seen 1v3 there from the Sledge. Lucky part on Los Angeles, and lucky for all the viewers, because it's happening, everyone wanted to see it, and we're gonna map number 3 on Nighthaven Labs.
Not shocking. It's not shocking whatsoever that we get here, Fisher. Map number 3 around the corner between Los Angeles Blessed and Atlanta Wolves. The number 1 seed, the number 2 seed are not disappointing. We said it might feel like finals. A lot of people wanted to be the finals. Well, you get the finals feel now, and both times Switch Chat's been wrong. So, map 3, we'll see how that goes as well. Lots to keep track of, certainly.
There's going to be a very interesting note there, Twitch chat being wrong, I guess. Vote for the team you want to lose going into map 3. We'll see if it's able to be done. And I think I asked you at the end of map 1 what we could see from the Blessed to kind of get their heads back into it, get their feet under them. We're going into map 3. It might be an even point for both teams. Momentum's with LA, but this is where people get nervous. This is where the mistakes become so much more important. If you're either of these teams, what's your mindset going into this map 3? How do you stay grounded? More importantly, how do you stay in that upper bracket?
Well, for me, if I'm LA Blessed, I'm absolutely leaning on the heavy hitters of Adexi, Zoli, and of course Lobs, who almost found the ace there in that last round. That's who I'm leaning on. And if I'm the Atlanta Wolves, I'm doing what I said for LA Blessed. I'm taking the time. I'm burning my incense. I'm saying, let's get together. We got this. I'm saying we brought in Joey Lipton cold, and Joey almost was able to pull out a lot of those rounds for us. And I'm saying we're not down. We're not out. But now I'm telling you that we're going to break. So we'll be right back with the conclusion of this series in Hyper Series GG. All right, it's time for the conclusion of this back and forth series between the Los Angeles Blessed #1 seed and the 2 seed Atlanta Wolves for the upper bracket quarterfinals. My name's Anthony Malum, joined by King Fisher, and map 1 was the name of the game was back and forth, but the name of the game in map number 2 was LA Blessed tossing the Atlanta Wolves back and forth until they got their victory off the backs of strong individual performances. Fisher, what does ATL do coming into map 3?
Well, you're definitely right. It was a much different kind of back and forth we saw in those games. For me, it's a little tough to say because I think we touched on it at the starts of game 1 and game 2. We are going to Nighthaven Labs here on game 3, and it is defenders sided for the Los Angeles Blessed. Yet again, they're starting on defense. It's kind of like map 1. I don't think this map is as important to get as many attacker rounds as you can for Atlanta. I think it's more for the mental game. That was not necessarily a rough loss. They certainly had areas where they looked like they would almost take it. There was a lot of fight in them, but just the scoreline of being down 7-2, that can really get in your head really easily. So we need to see him respond here. Just in kind, getting those early games out of the way, making sure, you're not just going to go down in a fireball again has to be important, not only for them, but for everybody watching in order to, kind of think Atlanta has a chance in this. Like I said, Los Angeles is the #1 seed. A lot of people thought this would be much later in the bracket. It's right now, and right now Atlanta are the ones that have to get back in it.
All right, I do bring you exciting news. LA Blessed, as if they needed any more help, their captain, who was unable to play so far, will be joining the fray, Fisher.
That's got to be exciting for them. The only possible downside to that would be that LA's been playing really nice so far. Even in their map 1 loss, they looked really cohesive as a unit. Don't know how that's going to affect it, but you would assume the captain naturally probably going to be the IGL of the team. So maybe we're going to see even stronger play calling, even more coherent strats here for Los Angeles. So it's kind of a double-sided coin. I can see this either working out really well or really badly here for LA.
And not to metagame too much, but there's also the potential of, on the way home, maybe the team captain was taking a listen in, seeing what they were seeing from the teams. We see subs do it all the time and watch the stream and try to pick up what their team's doing. And if that's the case, that means somebody has been viewing and seeing how slow ATL's been playing. So you, Fisher, may finally get your ask of somebody saying to LA Blessed, hey, you guys caught on to the way they're playing? And if that happens, that's almost the one thing that's been working out. That could be a serious problem. And I already gave you one thing to answer, Fisher, but I'll give you one more thing to kind of ponder. Who on LA Blessed is coming out?
You mean like out of the gates just going crazy?
No, I mean
we're being subbed out?
Correct.
In my mind, it can't be a Dexy or Zoli just because they've been playing so good. It's going to be one of the 3 that have Blessing in their name, so you think some camaraderie got to come out of it. And hearing that it is going to be Thor that's subbing out, Thor hasn't been having a bad game. The only thing that's been lacking on Thor's side has been not getting maybe as many frags as the teammates. But as we saw in that Bandit work, absolutely crucial on that CCTV catch site. Still been putting in a lot of work for the team.
All right, so it takes me back to the kind of the first thing. Do you think there's a world where the captain was sort of caught up or listening in and gets in that comms and says, all right, guys, you played well so far. Map 1 was tough, but you gave an effort. Map 2, we dominated. Here's what I've been seeing. Let's clean this up. And for map 3, here's our play. And that goes along with what you're saying with IGL, but maybe I'm metagaming it too much, but I'm a big comms guy. I'm a big give the speech guy. We've seen it work in finals. Fisher, you and I have seen things like that work in games where there's best of 7s. A coach goes in and gives a speech in game 6, and the team comes out in game 7 acting like they're on Adderall. So there's really a strong possibility of this being a game changer for LA Blessed.
Really could be. I mean, impossible to not watch a stream and think, wow, these are 2 of the smartest guys I've ever heard. We need to do what they say.
Obviously.
But yeah, completely possible. They've been tuning in, like you said, even if they're not taking our analysis to heart, just kind of getting an outside perspective of what's going on, going to be absolutely crucial to that team. And you hope at least between these games we are having a little bit extended wait time. Hopefully, won't be too much longer. You almost got to wonder if that's got to hurt Atlanta's game a little bit, if they're going to be there psyching themselves out. For Los Angeles, they're riding high here. So even if the IGL does get back, does change up some of whether it's a team chemistry, whether it's a play calls, there's going to be some sort of big change here for both these teams. And to me, my eyes go to Atlanta. We know we're not going to see the same Los Angeles out of this break, whether it's for the better or worse. Atlanta's going to need to respond.
All right, Twitch chat, as we get closer to game, still awaiting for that to get started up. There is time still to get in the prediction. The predictions have been certainly hot takes so far for both maps. You've been wrong. So this is your chance to maybe be right. So make sure you get in there, get your votes in. So far, leaning heavily LA Blessed, and for Atlanta, it's a bit lower on the points, but with a sub back in of Ymir's going back on to Atlanta, and Ymir's who had played pretty well on the first map, Fisher. It didn't play bad by any stretch of the imagination. It looks like they'll actually be taking out Dean as well, Fisher. So I'm interested for your thoughts on that.
I don't know. I'm confused. Because as good as Joey Lipton played in that game too, the Atlanta we saw in game 1 was really coherent. They knew what they were doing. And certainly no disrespect at all to Joey Lipton, but I think if you're going to bring a sub back in, you want to bring him for the same player. Dean had a really nice game 1. I think it was Dean and one other, not Ymir's, but that roamed together really well. We didn't quite see that same chemistry, but regardless, I mean, there's no way to get over it. Both teams have subs. Both teams have important team players that are being taken out. We're going to see how they respond. Game number 3, right around the corner between Atlanta and Los Angeles.
One thing they also share, Fisher, they've got a common goal in mind. They both want to move on to semifinals, but only one of these two can do it. Will it be the 1 seed or will it be the 2 seed? Those are toughest questions, but so far, regardless, we've had an incredible night of Rainbow Six on Hyper Series GG, and that's the biggest thing that's undeniable between the two.
It has been. Everybody in chat wins, regardless of who wins this game. It was an incredibly competitive set. You can only hope, like you said in game 2 there, without being biased, that it's a competitive game 3 as well. Whichever side wins, hopefully, I think we were seeing in the break, we don't want to see a 7-0 or a 7-1. It's going to start right here. What is a strategy? How do these teams approach pick and bans? Nighthaven Labs, a map I don't think we're quite as used to as the first two.
I'm still getting over the fact I finally got to cast an R6 match that wasn't on Chalet. That was pretty incredible for me. But to go to one that's uncommon in general as Nighthaven Labs is exciting. How do you think that's going to impact the bans here?
I think the bans might be a little bit more generalized. We are going to see Jackal again. That's the 3rd time out of Los Angeles. But in game 2, we saw some really interesting bans there for Atlanta in Neosa and the Mira. And the one that kind of slipped by was Solis, but arguably not seeing that big of an impact there in game number 2. So interested to see what they're going to prioritize. Jackal's been the only constant. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Dokkaebi here, but it's going to be a Thatcher instead. So that's really going to come into play into downstairs. Going to be opening those exterior walls a whole lot easier.
Thatcher was somebody that you kind of have been really putting the praise to and the importance of it so far from the previous map. So seeing that gone alongside that Jackal, interesting. But all right, Fisher, keep it going. Your predictions have been on it. Your relevancy has been on it. Keep it cooking.
I predict it's going to be Solis. Oh, would you look at that?
All right.
Okay, wasn't late. No. You gotta let me cook a little. I mean, Solis on this map, it is nice seeing the intel through the walls. The one thing I don't think we've talked about that I mention often, I think you have been as well, is seeing the vertical play from these teams. It's not as big of a factor on this map. We see it significantly less. It's a much more horizontal take for many of these maps. And Akai Bin, I really like seeing that from Los Angeles. What I don't like is seeing that they're on defense first. That's a really important operator for downstairs and upstairs. Being able to keep those walls closed much easier, especially without a Thatcher, can avoid those impact EMPs pretty easily. Don't love that they're kind of handicapping themselves a little bit by taking that elite defender out of their arsenal.
For those unfamiliar with this map, especially for competitive settings, how would you expect a playstyle like we've seen so often from ATL, that slower, more reserved playstyle? How would you expect that to play out on a map like Nighthaven Labs?
I think it's going to serve them much better than it did on Clubhouse. That being said, I don't know if it's the strongest, but at least on defense, especially on the top floor and on the bottom floor as well, you can get away with the turtle. You can get away with less roamers just because the angles are so difficult to challenge for the attackers. If they're not able to get those hardballs open, if they're not able to break through those reinforcements, it's going to be a really difficult task to push through some of the doorways. So if they take the right operators to kind of shut that down from the get-go, it's not going to be bad. I'm not going to mind it as much. It's still not my favorite, but it's definitely more doable. We see Pulse running all the way to the bottom floor. That's going to be Zoli on the very, very extended roam. Should have avoided any drones too, so I don't think any of the members of the Wolves here know there's a Pulse.
Keep your eyes on Trace as well. Ymir is back in after being in map 1, but Trace is coming in cold. Coming in a big moment. Final map, keeping these teams from semifinals, so Trace needs to show up. Being the team captain, like you said, good chance of being that leader, and maybe a chance to be that hero. Gonna be hard to get past Zoli and Lobs, however, as well as a Dexy. Pretty much everybody from LA Blast.
We'll see just how big of an impact they have. And we're seeing a much more Atlanta-style strategy come out on defense here for the Blessed, but it's what we talked about. It's what we expected. This is a map where roaming is... It's not necessarily bad, but it's a lot less important than some other maps. Now that's going to be Ymir's on the exterior trying to do some work with those exothermic charges, but Bandit sitting right by with a Mute Jammer as well. That Thatcher band really hurting Atlanta, and they're the ones that took him out of the pool.
It's always a tough spot to be
Oh,
in, for
good shot,
sure,
yeah.
but shots come through. Joey Lipton going to find the first kill, and it's on the trackers. That gives ATL the advantage right out of the gate. They needed that coming off the previous map. They needed some kind of change, but Bleeder going to fall not long after. It falls to Zoli, who we've seen do plenty tonight. This time, Zoli rocking the Pulse. And if I'm ATL Fisher, I got to be careful with Zoli, but now you think on a Dexy. That's massive. It falls to Ymir's. Trey's going to turn and pop. Welcome to the game, Trey's. Goodbye, Ymir's there. That's a good way of starting things off for the captain.
It is, and they dropped the diffuser too. Don't know if they've recognized it, but now can sit pretty. Frag grenade being prepped on the window, so the Mute going to be forced off that angle, won't be able to watch it. Oh, and Mute takes out the hologram. They know they're there. Does the SMG-11 land the shots? No, it can't. Trace might be trapped. Can't get the kill. What a shot, Joey Lipton.
Trace gave it all there, but Joey Lipton got the better of the fight. I guess that's the difference of being cold or not. A triple kill for Joey, continues it up. Gonna look for the fourth there. Joey gonna find that fourth. Round 1 goes to Atlanta.
Well, Joey Lipton immediately making me eat my words about the sub out, wanting to see the chemistry. Who cares about chemistry when you got 4 kills? Great opening round there from Joey. And Trace too. I mean, like you said, coming in cold, first round in, did have a really nice play there in that room, downing diffuser. Unfortunately, got out of there just a little bit too late. And I like seeing this from Los Angeles. It's always a little bit of a toss-up when you lose a site, if you go right back there. I like that it shows confidence, going back to command servers. I think definitely the strongest objective on the map, kind of indebatably. So this is going to be a really important round. If Atlanta can take this, they're setting themselves up really, really nicely for the second half.
Oh boy, I said I was feeling it earlier, but now I'm kind of feeling it in the gut. I'm feeling the stress. I'm feeling the excitement. LA Blessed and Atlanta Wolves. It's been a war tonight, but with Atlanta Wolves coming out like that and looking very different to what we've seen, that does bode well for the change of pace that we were begging for, especially you, for essentially the entire night tonight. I mean, it's been 2 hours and 18 minutes of you asking them to play a little bit faster. Respectfully, of course.
Well, yeah, and like we remarked earlier, we're never really going to hate on a team for playing it safely. It's always better safe than sorry. Very important to admit that. Luckily, though, getting a little bit more sorry here for Atlanta. I like the pacing of that attack, and the hyena in the background here can't stop laughing. But we're still getting into it here. Atlanta, they had a really nice push in round 1. Gonna be interested to see if they do the same thing. They don't have the Ash this time, so it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to get that Bandit Battery or Mute Jammer, whichever one's on the wall from below. But have they not reinforced that wall yet? No, just putting the Bandit Batteries on.
Lobs on the other side. Shots ring out. Dexy finds the first pick. This time it's Joey Lipton.
Big pick.
Joey was going crazy in the previous round, so for Dexy to take that kind of control out the gate is massive. Huge pickup, certainly. Lobs, a lot of damage now. Just trying to look below, see what they can find out, but now Lobs can disappear, but runs through, and trackers will find leaders. That's massive for LA. They keep up the pace so far. Already dropped 2 of ATL early on in this round. 2 minutes left to go.
Big few picks there from the offense. And now what we kind of wanted to see a little bit more conservative defense. They can pull the runners back. They can sit in sight. They still do have 1 exothermic charge, so the offense has a little bit of utility. But really nothing besides that, just some stuns. Ooh, it could be a big angle here for a zombie.
Ymir's taking it.
Oh, does he see the foot?
Oh, but
He sees a foot.
oh, shoot!
No!
Doesn't shoot. Holds on to it. Ymir's plays it patient, but maybe a bit too patient is the question. Dre is gonna find Explorn. That leaves Ymir's and Knocked the last 2 standing. Knocked at least has information from Ymir's there, but 5 still standing strong for LA Bless, and only Lobs has any damage on them so far. This is an impossible task now for Atlanta Wolves with the position they're in.
Only 2 members alive. A minute left. Ooh, almost killed from below there. Very, very close from the members of the Los Angeles Bless. Knocked now a little bit wary. And you gotta think Ymir's just didn't know that was a person. There's no way they just stare at it for that long without shooting. Knocked with the kill though. If they can claw 1 or 2 back, might have a chance, but very low HP for the Iona. Now on very 0 HP.
And Trace finds a double kill and found one in the previous round. So like I mentioned, Trace is here now. Zoli does get picked up by Ymir's 3v1. Ymir's still fully healthy. Does have advantage on Lobs and Trey in this scenario. Tracker's
No
still
C4s.
fine. Ymir's will turn dangerous. Needs to just turn a little more. I'll find it, but get dropped out by Trackers. There was the big one for Trackers, and that's going to give the round to LA Blessed.
That's a rough spot to be in. No teammates alive, no intel. Did have some smoke grenades in the pocket, but pretty much an unwinnable situation there for the Thermite. Maybe if they were able to take that zombie down earlier, might have had 1 less angle to deal with. But I think that's just wishful thinking. Not a very winnable situation at all. Now, luckily, Los Angeles avoid that trap card. They take that round, which means they're able to go downstairs to the tank. And this is another one where those exterior walls are so important. We've seen, I believe it's been Trackers on the Bandit both rounds so far. They need to keep those walls closed. If those walls open up, it becomes so difficult for the defenders to stop the pushes.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
And
as many
Fisher,
bombs as they can.
I'm sitting here thinking. I'm trying to wrap my brain around. So far, we've seen the captain come in and be strong. And while ATL took that round 1, and while we were impressed by the change of pace, it wasn't the cleanest we've seen them tonight. Joey Lipton kind of threw the team into the backpack for that first round. If they find an answer for that, are LA Bless going to have a bit too much going for them?
Not necessarily. It'd certainly be a really good swing for them. But Atlanta obviously can't be one-dimensional here. You're going to have to rely on more than just one good member to kind of carry him through it. So this round's going to be an
5
important
seconds
one.
to go.
But we did see in that round, maybe Joey, a very important piece of the puzzle, obviously died very early on, and the whole attack there from Atlanta kind of fell out afterwards. So if you're a Wolves fan, or if you put channel points on the Wolves, really hoping that's not going to be the case this time. Joey, once again, playing that gridlocks are going to be really important for that flank watch as well. Oh, do they have drones? Ooh.
Leader,
Oh, so
taking it
close.
slow. Yeah, not going to come across it. It's anxiety-inducing start.
It always is. It always seems to be.
Especially when the stakes are so high. Whenever this map does move on to semifinals, and while it's still 1-1, it's hard for every game not to feel like it's that match point and to have that stress online, really. Zoli is somebody who's had an insane series so far tonight, looking to continue it up. Bleeder does have a spot. Bleeder rushing through, trying to make use of that information.
Something we just heard ring out, obviously, the call from Dokkaebi. Second game, she's unbanned, but the first time we're seeing the Korean operator here. Might have gotten some valuable intel. Perched on a table is Ismazi. Zoli standing so close. Does Bleeder know they're there? Second call rings out. That might be the go button for the Ash. They can hear him. Just shoot through the wall. Or, oh wait, no. Can't shoot through that wall. Never mind. Gonna have to quick peek it.
Here comes that quick peek, but it's gonna go. No one falls yet, and eventually it will favor that Ash, but it was way closer than it maybe should have been. Joey Lipton also found one at the same time as Bleeder. He's gonna put a 4v3 advantage so far, favoring the Atlanta Wolves. Los Angeles Bless do have Trackers, Lobs, and Trace left. strong members certainly. Trades have been showing up so far. The captain maybe trying to make a big play happen to keep LA Blessed to the advantage. The slow play now favoring LA Blessed more so than an ATL, which is a shocking turn of events if you've watched the rest of the series so far tonight. Maybe it'll work out. Maybe that's the play call that Trey's made when subbing in.
Atlanta, though, doing a really good job taking out the Mira. Oh, and look at Thermite tucked into the corner. Do they see the plant going down? There's one in Exo I don't think they see. No, the C4 misses from Mute, and Diffuser's down.
That's going to start the clock. That's going to mean it's time for LA Blessed to do what they got to do. How will it go is the big question. We're along with Trackers in the 2v3 now, with Trey's picking up Bleeder. They continue to fall, though, as Noct finds one from that vertical play that Fisher talked about. And the last one still standing is Trey's, who did find one onto Ymir's already. 20 seconds left to go in the 1v2 for Trey's. Can Trey's make it happen? It's up to the captain here for this round before ATL can possibly take the advantage. So far, they got two waiting on it. It's a possible play for Trey's. 5 seconds left to go, and Trey's won't find it. Joey Lipton gonna clean it up and make round 3 go the way of Atlanta.
We talked about it before it started. We didn't see the bandit, and guess what? We saw the wall get open, the wall got ran into, and the wall got planted. I think kind of happened exactly how we thought it would there. For Atlanta, Los Angeles just not able to do enough. And they had a mirror setup that I really liked, but seating that top floor control so quickly meant that Atlanta was able to open it up from the top, and I mean, just nothing that the Bless can do in that situation. Really need to kind of stop that one in its tracks, do everything you can to keep that wall closed up, because we saw just how detrimental it is, and they're going back down there, and this time they have the bandit, so I'm a little bit more optimistic about their chances this time around.
You were calling for that.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
And with
bombs.
LA Blessed now being behind one with the sub in, but having not played bad, I kind of go back to the mentals discussion. And you had asked me what I expected, and I gave you the speech thing. I talked about running through a brick wall, you know, all the usual type of things from a speech like that. But with Trey's in, and Trey's having not played bad. Matter of fact, Trey's currently being the top fragger for LA Blessed. But these rounds feeling like it's Atlanta Wolves sprinting at them, and LA Blessed having to react and change the pace and reset the pace. It's a tough spot to be in, and it's going to require a lot of adjustments from a team that so far has not had to adjust to
5
anything.
seconds left.
They really haven't, and kind of like we remarked earlier, there's not a lot of time to get going. This is the last map, obviously. Siege is a long game, you know, you gotta get 7 to 8 rounds in order to win it. So they have time, you know, you can have a little bit of growing pains and still be okay. But it's gonna take time to do so. And now with the bandit, we've already marked, there's no Thatcher on the board, and really interestingly, there's no impact EMPs. I don't know if I love that. There's 3 walls you gotta block off. Bandit's gotta be at one of them. You could very, very easily open both walls in that basement with impact EMPs, but no one brings them here. I don't know about that call from Atlanta, but they do have a Dokkaebi again, so clearing roamers should be much easier again this time around.
Atlanta Wolves looking to set up and make the plays happen to rush in and catch LA Blessed off guard. LA Blessed, excuse me, off guard and get back in control of what so far has felt like them being a new team, but the first couple seconds every round is what's been rough so far, Fisher. But once they get in, once they get going, that Atlanta Wolves has looked completely different and very much unstoppable.
Definitely one of those teams that kind of smells blood in the water when they get close to sight. Oh my gosh, it happened again. It's not only on Chalet that we see somebody around the corner. Adexia lying still has Dokkaebi walk right by. There's no reaction. Vigil's just now getting down. I don't think either of them knew they were there. Vigil's on a camera. They had no idea. Oh, Joey hears him.
Joey will be the difference maker, turns the corner, does take some shots out, but will get the better of the fight. Joey
Great
Lipton going to find a
kill.
Dexy out the gate. That makes it 4v5 with 1:25 left to go. Joey Lipton needed to pull through in that fight and was able to.
And I like the discipline there from Joey Lipton, just trusting that Adexi would peek again, never moving that reticle. Really nice move by the Gridlock, and unfortunate for Vigil. Could have been a really different play if either were a little bit louder there about 10 seconds ago. It is not the case. Once again, Atlanta over top very early on. Still a minute left. Ymir's with a big kill. Now that main wall's open, finds damage onto Zoli, and once again, the plant's exposed.
Mears
good
looks for the
impact.
shots, but not going to find it. Takes a lot of damage from that impact, and a lot of ATL is dealing with a lot of damage right now. But LA Blessed are dealing with being down to members and stuff that turn things around. These are down for Atlanta Wolves. Shots ring through. It's going to be another picked up, and all of a sudden Lobs finds two. One left standing, and it's Zoli. We've seen this before. We've seen Zoli get a 1v4. Surely this is possible. Does find one already with Nox. It's going to leave two standing. They're both low, but Bleeder will clean it up. No miracle play this time for LA Blessed.
So close to more late round Zoli heroics, but not this time. The Wamai get shut down. Had a really nice shot, though. But I believe it was the Ashe, Bleeders playing above. So almost got there. But yet again, we see the same thing. Atlantic gets early kills onto the roamers. They force that objective open. And there's really not much the Bless can do. It's not the fact that they played that site badly at all. It really wasn't a bad hold. But once the wall comes open, in combination with the ceiling, there's nowhere they can sit in the site. Every single one of them is forced out of the objective.
2.5 hours have led us to the point where Atlanta Wolves are up 3-1, looking for what, by most accounts, if you look at Twitch chat for the most part, if you look at Discord predictions, would be an upset. The 2 seed over the 1 seed. They're up 3-1 on the final map. Still a lot of R6 left to play, Fisher, but it's past wake-up time for LA Blessed, because if you let too much more get out of hand, you're in a repeat scenario of what we saw on the first map, going down 4-1. And it did not work out the best for them. They came back on Attacker, but they never got their footing back. You cannot let that happen again on map 3.
10 seconds to
And we saw on map number 1, Los Angeles kind of cleared out their half with a really nice round win on defense. It wasn't the greatest stat line, but that was so important for momentum. They really rattled off some attacks after it. And we want to see the same thing here for Los Angeles. You got to take something back. Now, I don't know if people are superstitious, but I would like to point out that this is, in this map, the viewer points were like 29,000 to Los Angeles and 500 to Atlanta. So, we've seen patterns before. Correlation and causation are pretty important, you know, in the world of math. So, let's see if it works this time around. But Los Angeles trying to deny that yet again. It's a much more centered hold here with only one member offsite. It's a Dexy. You've seen them have so much impact over 2 maps. They've really kind of failed to get started yet in map 3.
Yeah, turn it around eventually. On board with Zoli, somebody who's been exciting to watch the whole time. Joey Lipton also doing the same thing. 7-1 so far in round 5, and a Dexy trying to find what was rocking earlier. Finds the first pick onto Bleeder. Joey Lipton might be trying to make more happen, but Fisher, the problem with Joey Lipton for me is Joey Lipton thrives on getting the sneaky flanks. A Dexy down. That's massive for Atlanta going to explore in there. Dexy's kind of the same wavelength as Joey Lipton. That somebody you have to get rid of, and quickly, if you want to get an advantage.
bomb located by attackers.
Good kill early onto a Dexy. Takes one with him, so a really nice kill onto Bleeder there. Gave momentary mana advantage for the Blast, now back to even. This is an angle that gave Atlanta a lot of trouble last time. The Izami in the corner here, Zoli did such a good job in round number 2. Now with a minute and a half, has to do even better, and now Trackers is down. Don't let Joey get hot. The Gridlock finds the 8th in the match. Now gonna move to the window by the Izami. Izami is gonna be forced out really quickly here.
There was a point in this series where Joey Lipton was fresh off the bench, and we were wondering why. Now it's hard to imagine Atlanta Wolves without Joey Lipton so far. Ymir set up to help out too. LA Blessed down to those 3 remaining members, and things are looking grim at the moment. Ymir does have a shot. Can't find it so far with Zoli. They trade out. It's not going to go their way thanks to Trays.
What a call from the mute, dropping and C4ing, a great play. Means the Izami lives on very, very low HP, just about 20, and the members in the corner. Do they see the bandit? Lobs could go huge.
Lobs is set up for it perfectly here, but has to make the play happen still. Not going to look for it. Exploring going to find Lob, so it did not work out. Now Trey's flash has to run away. Zoli going to run into one. We'll find it. Can Zoli's find more? It's a 1v2 now, but Zoli's got nothing left but a sliver.
Can't move to their left. If they step there, they'd be dead. Can't fit the shots.
Not going to push through, and Zoli's still waiting. They still can't find Zoli. You cannot kill Zoli. It's not possible. Clearly, finally, they'll do it. It took forever, but Explored makes it happen. Brings down the demon of Zoli, and the round goes to ATL.
Zoli needs a game change, or gamer tag change to like Snake or something. Just way too slippery to catch. Unreal how long that Izami lived. honestly should have died much earlier on to the Thermite, just unable to find the shot. I think it was Ymir's, just not able to control that recoil well enough before that C4 found them. And it's always Zoli, the last one alive, that we're almost kind of expecting now after that Thorn clutch. Just, oh yeah, it doesn't matter. They're gonna get it. Oh, and we see the Thorn. Is it gonna happen?
I was waiting for your
Attackers
reaction,
need to
Fisher, and you
locate
let me
and
down.
defuse bombs.
What?
You built me up. You built me up. I was like, oh, Fisher's gonna be excited for this. I'll let him have his moment.
What do you mean?
You were looking for the Thorn.
Yeah, he picked the Thorn.
Yeah, but where was the excitement?
Deploying laser wire.
What
Oh
is
my gosh,
wrestling
did you
without a
just
good
miss it?
pop?
Nah, okay, no, forget the Nemo argument. We're talking about that now. Well, you know, it's not the Thorn, so it doesn't matter. I didn't get my hopes up over nothing. I definitely don't hate it, though. These zombies been really good on this site.
I just wanted you to live a little.
10 seconds.
Excuse me for trying to get you to live your life.
Hey, I'm just that stoic serious one. There always has to be one, and I'm okay making that sacrifice.
We're
to
not
make
here
it pop
forever.
off.
Scream at the video game. Grow up.
Attackers are heading
Scream
out
at the
to
video
defuse bombs.
game. Grow up.
Put that on my tombstone. We're not here forever. Scream at the video game.
Exactly. Yell at your TV. Show maturity. Don't worry. I promise. I promise. Whoever wins, I'll get hyped for it. Don't worry. I'll bring it.
Okay, okay. Round 6, 4-1, favoring Atlanta Wolves. They've come out swinging, but LA Blast have not looked bad in these rounds. They just cannot clean them up, and now we're in a repeat of what we saw in Map 1, with Atlanta taking the 4-1 out the gate.
Ooh, and it's going to be a really early opening wall here for Thermite. Normally, they've had to send somebody like Joey or Bleeder on the Ash downstairs in order to get it open. But no Bandit. It's what I didn't like to see downstairs on Tank. I like it even less here. Now Dexy still is behind, but nobody's cleared him out. This could really come back to bite Atlanta late in the game. They have a drone downstairs, though. Yeah, it's exploring, so they're going to know Dexy's there. They need to find a way to deal with them, Wamai, because left unchecked, they are going to do some damage.
We've seen Adexi do nasty things with good flanks so far, but not going to be the case right at the moment. Adexi certainly worth watching still.
Close to knocked.
If Knocked runs through, might be the case here, will be the case, but it was the decoy, and Adexi fell for it. That's information in pocket for Knocked.
Oh, Joey Lipton's on site. What the heck? Joey making so much headway
Okay.
early on. Might find the head of a zombie. That'd be a huge pick. Can't get it yet, though.
Joey playing with some fire so far. Trace finds Bleeder. That gives the advantage to LA Blessed, but I'm not going to call it a full advantage until Joey Lipton is off the map at this point. It's just too dangerous to leave Joey out. LA Blessed, I think they know the same exact thing, Fisher.
Let's see what the play is. Uh-oh. Can
Uh-oh.
Trackers get it? Gets blinded. Somehow lives.
And gets it again. Tracker's going through it. Exploring steps up with help, but they did not find it. Tracker's able to escape from it. Another gets sent out, but the pick actually
Oh.
finds the way of Atlanta Wolves coming from Zoli, taking out Explored. Zoli finds another for a double kill. Again with 1 HP. I don't think Zoli likes to have health at this rate. Trace finds another. That's one left standing for the Atlanta Wolves in round 6. And that one is Joey Lipton, but Joey holding the ankle out the doorway. Gonna find it. Pop! Zoli deals with that problem. Still standing strong with 35 seconds left to go.
It's not impossible, but it's unlikely. 30 seconds. About to no HP. Can Cass
Oh
find
my
the shot? No, he
God!
can't! What a shot!
Finds a triple kill, but turns the corner,
Oh.
and Trace is waiting, and that shuts down any hope for that round.
Forget the excitement about the Thorn. I'm all over the gridlock now. Joey's so close to making it work. What a shot from Trezo. We were nervous coming in, but time and time again, the mute has just been absolutely showing out here for the Los Angeles Blessed. Now something we were worried about for Los Angeles. They had such a good game 2, such a dominant game 2, and then they lose 4. I'd like to point out, though, if I may, it's the exact same pattern that happened in game 1. They won rounds 2 and round 6. Atlanta taking all the others. This time, though, it's not like Chalet. This map is a little bit more defended-sided. We're going to see servers first. It's been played 4 times. It's split 2 and 2. Atlanta needs this because attackers won it 2 times before defenders did. They can't afford to lose that round this early on.
Let's keep it simple. Let's go back to basics, Fisher. What are the big key moments to look for here in round 7?
Honestly, for me, it's just going to be looking at the pacing. Because we've seen from Atlanta Wolves now, throughout 2 maps, they don't like to go very extended. on this site, but they hold angles very, very well. They really make you challenge a lot of things you don't want to as an attacker. For this one though, we saw just how much time these teams have to work with on this server site. It's normally over a minute where you've got the site opened up and you're just looking for picks. So it's going to be interesting to see how Atlanta deals with it, because I think for Los Angeles, they're going to have even more time. Yeah, it's really tough to say, but this one round is going to be really telltale about how the rest of this game goes.
So write it down. Keep it in the handy dandy notebooks. Out the gates. Bleeder and company will try to make things happen. Of course, Joey Lipton, a player to watch, has so far just been bringing it to the LA Blessed. LA Blessed, I mean, they're full of demons. There's no denying it. So there is a world where they can hold on. They can push through on this offense and make the Atlanta Wolves regret teasing them, regret poking the beast, so to speak.
Poking the beast, poking the blessed. We're going to see what they're able to do here. So now the Wolves, once again, it is a pretty objective-oriented defense, but like we've been saying, not at all a bad thing. And more importantly, they've wasted over a minute. Los Angeles, it's just like we talked about. I didn't love the Thatcher ban because of how it would put Atlanta at a disadvantage, but now with a 2-round lead, it kind of works out for him. Although this time, LA brings impact EMPs. We wanted to see it from Atlanta, we see it from them. Osa has it. The wall gets opened up. Ymir's now forced into a tough spot on top of the wall, but Bleeder takes a lot of damage from a frag from, I think, a Dexy. It was.
Bleeder, somebody who has been that anchor to hold Atlanta Wolves down. Being low already could be problematic. Now Zoli going to trade shots out, but Zoli's still standing. We know how hard it is to kill Zoli. Won't be this time, so they're gonna be able to walk away from that alive. Same thing with Bleeder and Ymir. Joey Lipton gets dropped by trackers. That's huge. Joey Lipton has just been the answer to everything LA Blessed have. If Joey Lipton dies, it becomes a completely different game, it feels like. Lob's gonna find another one. It's exploring. That makes it 5v3, and LA Blessed continuing to live up to that task of taking out Joey and then getting the advantage. 1 minute, 10 seconds left on the clock.
What are they going to be able to do here? Mira's pops, so their main tool holding that side is gone. Now Ymir's is dead. 5-on-2 with 2 alive, starting to look like an LA victory. One goes down, though.
With knockdown, I mean, it's just one remaining. A Dexy gets the credit for that one. It's just Bleeder and a Bleeder and a prayer. LA Blessed will look to clean it up and make the last one happen. Bleeder won't be able to find any. Lobs gets it flawless for LA Blessed. And comes at a great time. That round 7 there. Excuse me, round 8. I'm losing track. I'm losing track of every round. I'm losing track of everything, Fisher. It's full chaos. But a huge round regardless for LA Blessed. That's the biggest thing.
No worry. You can lose it. I'll be here to guide you through. I got you.
I lose my mind.
It's hard not to with how back and forth this game's been. Easily one of, if not the most exciting of the entire playoffs.
I got so many
forget
crosses.
The finals. We need round 2.
I got underlines in my notes.
Well,
I know. I'm sure.
I'm not that serious with it.
Well, that's because you don't write your notes, because I'm the boomer in this scenario.
I do.
This pen, though. I woke up with an orange pen today. Not that you have.
I know. You said it earlier, and I told you I had a blue pen, and you never said
what?
anything
I didn't hear you
about
talk
it,
about
buddy.
a blue pen. I thought you used your. What happened to the Google? You have a whole printed sheet.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're like the
It's on
Stephen
paper.
Hawking
It's
of
on
R6
paper.
casting, and you're gonna critique me and my little pens.
I think you're no. It's printed sheet, so I printed it on paper. and now we're writing with a pen. Yeah.
Oh, you have a library card. Excuse me.
10 seconds remaining.
Round 8 now on
I
tap.
don't.
Round 8 now on tap.
Okay.
Taking us back to the game. Round 8 now on tap. Atlanta Wolves holding a 4-3 lead. LA Blessed
Attackers are moving
have
to defuse the
refused to
bomb.
go down. And we keep talking about Zoli, but Trey's sitting at 10 kills is certainly worth some airtime.
Absolutely. I thought I was going to be the one to get us back on track, but no. Okay, we're role reversing for a little bit. But yeah, Trey's been doing an incredible job on the Mew with the SMG-11. Console players with the SMG-11 always impresses me. I can't even control that recoil on PC. I got no clue how they do it in this game. But it's gone absolutely massive, and they're going to need the Gun of Thermite now do the exact same thing, and they should get that wall open pretty early. They do have impact EMPs this time around. They're going to forego the frags. Zoli has them, but they can afford to. They have 4 others by Sledge and a Dexy, who we saw go downstairs last time. Dexy loses a bit of damage as Fenrir reminds. Haven't seen him played, but now we do. Lob's Blessing gets Joey through the wall, though. Great opening pick. Once again for LA. Atlanta starting to unravel here on defense.
They unravel anytime they lose Joey Lipton, Fisher. That's the key. And LA Blast just keep running into Joey and keep handling the problem. And ATL have got to react to it. They've got to figure something else out with Joey going down to how they can react, maybe how they can adjust, because that's been their top fragger, and we see how different they play when Joey's not on the field of play. Now LA Blessed with the man advantage. They're looking to push.
That's dangerous. A no bleeders there in the basement, using those gridlock tracks to get him out, and runs right into the L85 there, Sledge with an early kill. Another big peek. It's round 7 all over again. 5v2, knocked and exploring the last 2, but can they hold off the Blessed?
Oh, Captain, my captain so far, certainly the story for LA Blessed. But finally, that captain brought down by Explore. Not going to be the same case there. Zoli finds one, Lobs gets the other. It's teamwork to bring us another round from LA Blessed.
And now I'm going to make a very bold call, like I think I made in game 2.
Oh, God.
Take the time out. Atlanta, you got to talk it out. It's 3 in a row. And now, I don't want to sound crazy, but you'll never guess what the exact score was in game number 1 with the exact same round breakdown. It was 4-4, with Atlanta and LA both taking a 3 in the row on the back end. It's literally deja vu. It's just a different map.
Deja vu all over again. Don't worry, there's a phrase for it.
Really? I don't think I've ever heard that.
Yeah, it's a Yogi Berra quote.
Yogi Berra or Yogi Bear? Those are two really, really iconic figures.
Yogi Berra, the human.
Okay. had to confirm. Maybe the less fun of the Yogis, but still a pretty good one.
I don't know. Yogi Berra is like a short, angry Italian dude. Yogi Bear is the bear version of an angry Italian dude.
Very true. How do we keep getting off on this tangent? You can see.
At least it's during the prep phase.
That's true. Imagine this is what the time's doing to us. I don't even know how some players stayed this locked in after so long, especially after game 1 went to 14 rounds. Like I've already marked it, if history repeats itself, we're about to see another 14 here. From Atlanta in Los Angeles, the mental fortitude on these players is something that always goes overlooked in these long sets, but the ability to hold yourselves in it is really important. Like you remarked with the subs earlier, we're seeing some fresh blood for both these teams. Gotta think that's making some sort of impact. Anything you can do to keep that energy up, need to be doing right now. And on this basement site, we do see the Bandit. It's something that I miss seeing in the Los Angeles defenses. Really like that we're getting it here out of Atlanta.
Yeah, I did not pack enough water for this 3-map journey so far.
Oh, right?
LA Blessed, ready to play aggressive again. Looking to play behind trays would be probably the best assumption the captain's been leading them through. Joey Lipton has gotten picked early the last 2 rounds. Now, try not to be the case. Joey's going to be the one to get a pick, and it's Zoli.
Such an important one, too. They ram down early. A lot of vertical control gone. Luckily for Los Angeles, though, they have this sledge. They still have some means, because we saw how much Atlanta was able to do through the floor. Now, a lot of damage landing onto Lobs. Maybe with Joey. Still, some contest going on here on the top floor. We were complaining about not seeing Atlanta waste enough time. Well, Joey is doing that perfectly. Even if the Capcan dies, they have a kill and they have wasted more than a minute at this round. Oh, and the Dexy goes down!
That's massive. You can't lose a Dexy and Zoli. We've seen that so many times. Usually now Trey's picking up the slack, but Trey's has had problems in the last couple of rounds. Even the ones where LA Blessed do good, we see Trey's really go through it. And that's been with Joey Lipton gone. You've got Joey Lipton alive, if not low, so problems. Definitely rearing their head for LA Blessed to deal with.
Gonna see what the play is. They are still trying to clear out Joey Lipton. Oh, Dokkaebi nearly getting the shots through the wall would have been an incredible take. Joey now gonna run right into the sledge. Do they hear each other? The sledge does.
He's sprinting. He turns, but he still finds him. Joey gets dropped by Trax.
What a reaction from Trax there, and that could have been the pick of the round. Los Angeles keeps her hopes alive. Would have been a huge loss. Now Dexy spotted out by the pulse scanner. Drone coming through. Atlanta rectifying everything they've been slipping up on defense so far. They've wasted so much time in this round.
It's crazy to me. It's a completely different look again. These teams keep evolving as we go forward. Now Ymir is going to get a pick onto Trackers. LA Blitz just keep losing people left and right to what seem like uncharacteristic picks.
Atlanta is coming up in clutch when they needed to. Wall finally gonna open. This is always a catalyst for this site. Did they even hear it? Nobody's even looking at Trays.
It's a jump down from Lobs. Gonna take the shot, gonna find the right angle and not gonna get dropped by Lobs. Leader, alive still. Gonna get picked, not for long. Lobs finds that one too. It's a 3-2 advantage for LA Blessed. Next person they get a map victory, get a round victory. They've got an advantage, and LA Blessed are sprinting towards that advantage. They take it. They've got themselves a lead.
I don't even know what there is to say. Nobody reacted to the Dokkaebi dropping down the hatch. Nobody reacted to Thermite opening the wall. I don't know what happened for Atlanta. It was such a good round. They did everything right. I mean, you just hate to see it, regardless of what team you're rooting for a team to be that dominant through 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and it all falls apart. They're going back to tank. I think that's a good play. But more importantly, if Los Angeles wins this round, they're on match point. This has to be a Wolves victory for them to stay alive.
We're all breathing. I'm breathing. Fisher's trying to take breaths. Production's hanging on by nail threads at this point. This is an absolutely absurd series. Now 5-4 favoring Los Angeles Blessed. We're on round 10. 1 seed versus 2 seed, living up to the hype, and the winner moves on. Miami is still waiting. Miami's waiting, just wondering who at this point. And if I'm Miami, I'm not excited about either one of these matchups, potentially.
Honestly, right? I mean, Miami at this point can probably just flip a coin to try and figure out who they're going to be playing against. Yeah. It's that much of a toss-up. So we'll see what happens. And yet again, they're going to be sending Joey Lipton upstairs. I think it's a smart play, but this time around, you can tell in the first round, I don't know if Los Angeles were expecting it, if they weren't ready for it. It took so long to clear out that cap cam. They almost lost 2 members. Dokkaebi was very, very nearly dead there after that top floor skirmish, altercation, whatever you want to call it. And they're going to need to do a much better and a much quicker job clearing them out this time. They know they're going to be doing the same thing. The thing I'm wondering is Joey in the same spot. Explorin's in the grave.
Dexy did find Explorin. Joey Lipton now falls. I was just going to say Joey's still alive. There's still a chance, but Joey Lipton constantly is the seal for Atlanta Wolves. If Joey drops, the Wolves tend to fall along suit. 5v3 for LA Blessed with no signs of stopping.
There's the time gone already. Los Angeles Blessed. Don't know if they've realized it yet, but do have control of the entire map. And with the Explorin, with Adexi getting the kill with the pistol, we didn't see it. I so hope they saw the cardiac scanner and just wallbang them. Would have been awesome, but now Ymirz gets kill on the Adexi. No more IQ, so safe to go on cams here for the attackers. Wall still open. Atlanta, or Los Angeles, still has to get it there to apply pressure. Oh, gets a shot. What a shot from Zoli.
With Ymirz gone, it's a 4v2 for Los Angeles Blessed, and they are looking at a match point potential. Zoli's still alive on 1 HP doesn't face Zoli. We've seen that a million times at this point. 1:35 to go, and the 2 remaining members of Atlanta Wolves have got to make a play if they want to keep match point from happening. But with this death of Bleeder, it's looking rough. Just 1 still standing. It's knocked, and it wasn't for very long. Los Angeles Blessed find themselves on match point.
And I know I wanted to see it after round 8, but if you're on Atlanta, take the timeout. You got to switch something up. You are down 6-4. You have to win 2 rounds in a row, and you have lost the same 2 sites 4 times. It has to be something different. I'm honestly kind of wondering at this point if they're going to go back. No, they're not. They're moving on to Kitchen Cafeteria. I think it's smart. Their defensive rounds have not looked overwhelmingly positive outside of that first tank defense, where I really did think they have it. But now going on to Kitchen Cafeteria, it's a very, very different site. It is big, it is expansive, and it's somewhere that I think could play to their playstyles. They like anchoring, and there's a lot of spots in those sites where you really can't shoot through the walls at them. But, the changeup, I think it might be too late. Los Angeles, with 5 in a row, looking for their 6th, looking to play the Miami Neon in the next round.
Los Angeles Blessed to know it's time. Captain knows it's time. Subbing in cold, and alongside everybody who's a shooter, the Demons are just one round away. The Atlanta Wolves are just trying to hang on. They got to rely on their Demon Slayer, Joey Lipton. That's been their answer, but they just can't keep Joey alive. And the rest of Wolves just
10
follow
seconds
suit
left
with it.
before
You can
insertion.
look at it in this round, and if Joey drops, you can almost write it off at this point.
5 seconds to go.
I like that you're calling the Blessed the Demons. It's like very thematically accurate there.
Attackers are heading
Really,
out to
really going with the whole feel.
I like to have
Spiritual
fun
feel.
here.
I mean, for the Blessed, it's almost destiny now, trying to close it out here. See, I can do it too. Gonna see what the opening is. Once again,
see.
we have a pulse here. Oh, you know it. And there is an IQ on the board. We saw last time Adexi really early on able to clear out Explorin there. Wonder if that's going to affect how Explorin plays. Normally out of the objective, just now leaving though. Might be pretty wary of that P12 in the hands of Adexi.
Atlanta Wolves are going to definitely want to take their time this time and play it wise. Los Angeles Blessed going to play as smart as they can, hold the best angles they can. I'm sure they're feeling it. I'm sure they're feeling that match point potential. Adexi not far away from running into potential chaos. Not going to find it yet. For the moment, we can still breathe, but I don't know how much longer it's going to last.
I already feel nervous. Can't even imagine how they're feeling. And now Tracker's so close to finding Emirs here at the angle. Bandit very wary of it after losing some HP. From the main door? No, had to be from the window. Adexi not in the sight quite yet. Sees Pulse on the scanner, so they know one's in. They're just looking at each other with their gadgets.
Kind of needed a break in the action, but the reality is we're even closer to a war, and Joey Lipton goes down to Zoli. Remember what we said. Joey has to stay alive if the Wolves want a chance. Can they pull through this time? They do find one on the lobs thanks to Explorin, but now it's 4-4 with 1 minute 25 seconds left to go. Noct holding a decent angle is moments away from seeing when the flash comes out. Noct has to reposition, loses the angle that was so advantageous.
To start calling Zoli. Kryptonite has been the thorn in the heel for Joey and the Wolves here. Now they've ceded control at B. Bandit the only one that can test. Los Angeles can start to move in. IQ going around the back. Do they see Adexi? Gonna have to break open the barrier. They'll hear him.
Adexi's been a hero throughout this entire step, and now Zoli has two, and Trackers is gonna find one. That's two remaining. Two people stand between the Los Angeles Blessed and semi-finals. Make it one. It's just Explorin left. Trey's gonna plant now. Explorin has their hand forced. They gotta make the play. They turn the corner. Can they survive the shot? Explorin does find Adexi. Holding on, but the fuser's planted, and Explorin has to react to it. Gotta make a play happen here, and barely any time to work with if you want to make your way to the semi-finals. You gotta stay alive. Match point still for LA Blessed. They know exactly where to go now too. Explorin is in an impossible position. Shots ring out, looking for Explorin. Can they do it? They turn. They get it. Semi-finals for LA Blessed.
The number one seeds, the favorites, close it out in convincing fashion. 6 rounds in a row to win map number 3. We weren't even sure we got here, but boy, are we glad we did. What fight in both these teams. You really can't ask for a better set than that.
Not at all. And look at how we ended up. Zoli was so insane. The entire series, Zoli was insane. Adexi was crazy. Trey's showing up, and we gave a lot of love to the Atlanta Wolves, but through all the love, it became so clear the answer. The slow play was held up by Joey Lipton. If you take out Joey Lipton, they go back to the slow play. Then you rush the slow play, and LA Blessed figured it out, and they just run through and take it and move to the semifinals, seemingly unanswered at the end.
And I know you were concerned in Game 3 when we saw those big kind of pop-off plays from the gridlock, if they were relying too heavily on one player. And definitely not that it's a play call, but you think it kind of had to. Joey kind of not necessarily fell off in the later rounds, but was really heavily mitigated on defense. I think 11 of those 12 kills came as the gridlock, and that's just a rough split for the Wolves on defense, really counting on Joey to kind of pop off.
The fact that Trey's could come in cold the way the captain did and be able to pull through a performance like that, impressive. And Zoli was so consistent the entire series and constantly 1 HP didn't seem to matter to Zoli. No matter how much health was there, Zoli was shooting and being a difference maker. And Lobs had an amazing series as well. It feels like every time you talk about one person, you're going to miss talking about the incredible performance from somebody else. And that seems to be what made LA Blessed so successful.
It seems so many times throughout playoffs, there's always one person we're focusing in like, oh, they're doing so good, they're carrying the team. Every single member on both of these teams had their moment. I don't think there was a single player in this game where you can say, oh, maybe they didn't have a good game, they didn't have an impact. Everyone had their moment, everyone popped off when they needed to. You really can't ask for a more competitive set than that. Absolutely love the way that one went down. Importantly, keep in mind from chat, this is not the end of the Atlanta Wolves. They go into the losers bracket where they'll face a winner of, I believe it's San Diego and Edmonton. So we'll have a good matchup coming down there as well, but still possible. This is still the finals matchup.
Man, what a quarterfinals that was. That was the finals everybody was looking for, and it definitely showed up and it played today. In a Dexy, pulled through always what it mattered most. We talked so much about kind of the first pick, the start off, and how you had to set the tone and whatnot, and a Dexy did that on the first two maps every round, it felt like. And while the third map was slower, everyone was still there, and a Dexy stood out too. Like we'll repeat it a million times, but it's just incredible to me that everyone at LA Blessed could stand out the way they did.
The give and take too. They flowed so smoothly. There was never a moment where like everybody on one of the teams it was lacking. Right as somebody's production started to fall off, somebody else would pick it up. Just unrelenting there for Los Angeles. And on the side of Atlanta, I mean, how do you deal with that when every single member has it going for him? There's not too many ways they can win. We do have a double interview here with two members of the Blessed. It's going to be a Dexy and Trey.
Hello, guys. Congratulations on taking a victory. It was an incredibly heated set. Let's start simple because I'm sure you guys got a lot to say. So let's just start simple. Let's start calm. Congratulations again, and take me through how it felt to get the victory.
It kind of felt weird that first map not having Trey, because every time we play, we do have Trey, and Trey's our IGL. So when we went through that first map, we didn't have our IGL, and it kind of felt weird. So I had the IGL, and honestly, like, sorry, someone said something to me.
Oh, you're fine.
Honestly it was kind of hard to attack against. Definitely attack. It was kind of hard to attack against a team such as Okami with, like, the fraggers that they have. Like, they have the fraggers. We have fraggers, but honestly, we didn't have Trey, and without Trey, our, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, our foundation kind of falls because we don't have anyone to back up IGL. So when I hopped on IGL, my teammates listened to me. We tried to win that first map. We lost to some unfortunate throws, but on Clubhouse, we strike back. We got the rounds that we needed. I think it was a 5-1 split on 5-1 split. We just got the 5-1 split. I didn't think Club was one of our best maps. I don't think we played Club much this season, and when we did, it was against, I think, San Diego Rush, and it was just a clean sweep. But we honestly capitalized on that match. That was a clean match. I don't really have much to say other than, good stuff by Zoli there. He really got it done. And then moving on to Nighthaven, I myself have not played Nighthaven in like a comp setting yet, like in the league or anything like that. So bringing it and playing it felt really weird. We went down, what was it, 2-4. Our morale wasn't shot, like we weren't chalked, but we were just kind of confused on where to go, how to play. One thing that was really messing us up, I think, was when we went upstairs, that the rotate we had in command to connector where that big wall is, they kept on getting it every round. And, they had Joey with like a first pick, a nade, whatever he was doing, he was holding flanks. He was doing his job, and it was kind of hard. But what we did is we kind of tried to focus on the little bits. We tried to focus on the vert. Okami really roamed hard. They roamed hard like we did. And, roaming on that map, it's good. But at the same time, once you lose numbers, you can't really turtle and bunker in sight. So I feel like once we picked off their roamers, it was pretty easy. And, big shout out to Trey and Lob for showing that match. Trey comes home from work. He's not warmed up. He comes in and he shows out. He shows out on Breacher. He's doing his job as IGL, making calls, making sure our mentality was fine. And just big shout out to both Lob and Trey.
Well, I appreciate such a thorough talking point, and you really took us through what is always the hardest thing to figure out, and that's what it's like to actually be playing through it and going through the ups and the downs, right? But something that you mentioned early on and you finished out with, and I actually want to ask you about, Trey, is you came in cold to map 3, where there was a lot going on. Fisher and I were talking a lot about how we were seeing the Atlanta Wolves kind of continuously do the same play style, and you guys, not that you weren't adjusting, but that you were kind of all in the same rut. And it feels like a lot of that play, and you mentioned it with Trey being the IGL, Dexy. But Trey, my question for you is, what was it like coming in that cold and on the way to joining, car ride or whatever it may be? Were you watching? Were you prepping? Were you listening in on comms? What was kind of going on there? Take me through it.
So my problem was I had work, and I was checking in.
Gross.
I was making sure everybody like. My problem was, I had to do the map bans. I didn't really have time to communicate with my boys about what maps they wanted, and I couldn't communicate like basically just the start of the game. I didn't know who was in the lobby, who was available, stuff like that. So as soon as I got off work, I headed straight back, and I got here. Everybody's saying get in, and I didn't even have time to play a T-Hunt or nothing like that. So I was watching at work too. I kept tuning in every time I really got a chance.
I was gonna say, do you have you wearing a uniform? Did you even change? Or were you fragging out in work clothes?
I changed out of my shirt. It smelled kind of funky. I'm not gonna cap. But yeah, man. Like if I had money for the jersey, I'd buy it. But if we win, I'll buy everybody a jersey. I'll buy everybody on my team a jersey.
I was gonna say, make sure you guys clip that out.
A contract too. I mean, a contract too. But yeah, dude, it was great watching, the second map come back. I saw it went overtime Chalet, and I was like, damn. But that clubhouse game is what we needed, and I think I'm just incredibly proud, and there's nobody else I'd rather want to be on a team with than these guys right here, and they're just coming in clutch on that clubhouse game, allowing for me to come in map 3 and doing what I could do for the team is just there's nobody else that I'd rather do it with than these guys right here.
Love seeing that. Could absolutely see the camaraderie shining through you all. And I mean, talking about 3, I want to take it back to map 2. Obviously, I can't remember if it was round 2 or 3, but one of the biggest clutches we've seen in the playoffs.
Round
1v4, round 2, yeah, 1v4 from Zoli. On Clubhouse, we had already talked about, it wasn't your map pick, and after that Rocky map 1, you needed the big answer back. So kind of, what was it like after that? Was that momentum swing? Was that just kind of another bump in the road? Take me through kind of what happened after that huge moment.
Zoli in that 1v4, the first thing I told him was I kind of choked some shots on when I was a zombie. So I knew 2 players were low. And Zoli's smart enough to know where to rotate. In that situation, he played his position so well. That a zombie that I put there, he played around that well, got 2 kills off of it. And honestly, our mental from the first game wasn't really that bad. We were just kind of upset at the things we threw, and we knew what we had to work on. But once he clutched that 1v4, the whole game chat erupted. I was screaming his name, and Zoli was a big part of us winning this whole entire series. That map he completely dominated. That 1v4, he was kind of the first map. He was timid. He still had a huge amount of kills. I think it was 10 plus or something like that. He still had a big amount of kills, but that game, him and Tracker specifically really felt more confident and more able to swing, because they kind of, the first game, like I said, were playing scared. But once he got that 1v4, they just kept on playing confident. He kept on getting he got, I think, another round. He got 3 first picks or 2 first picks on Warden. The momentum just kept on going. He was on cams. When he was dead, he was making perfect calls, making sure the mental was fine. He was playing his role perfectly. I feel like everyone on my team, regardless of how many kills were dropped, regardless of who's the king and who's did this and who did what, everyone had a moment. Lob on Nighthaven, he made plays. He dropped a hatch. Tracker on Nighthaven shutting down Joey, who had 11 kills, shutting him down 4 times. Trey coming in and doing the job that he had. Thor, round in, round out. Doesn't matter if he's 3 and 9, what he is. He's running the support. He's running the ops we need. He's on cams. He's running flanks. Zoli running flanks, still dropping a huge amount of kills, making plays, giving me cam, calls on cam. It was just, my team knows, we just don't give up. And that's what I like. We didn't give up once. There wasn't a moment we were like, damn, it's done. There's no shot of us winning this. Every single time Zoli brought what we needed. And I literally love the fact that we never give up. Every time we don't give up, we destroy teams. And that's what happened.
You all absolutely took the fight out of the Wolves. It was really nice to watch. And I think something you said, everybody had their moment. I know we were talking about that post game. Every single player of your team had moments where they absolutely popped off. And we don't always see that. We don't always see every player contributing in at least some way. Even if it's not on the scoreboard, there's some way everyone hops in. So I think that kind of leads into my next question. We're going into future rounds. Obviously, we talked a lot about the strats, having IGLs missing. Is there anything from your group's point of view that you feel you need to work on, or anything you're changing for the next rounds? Or is it a confident win, let's move on, we already got it all under wraps?
Every
Um,
game, realistically, I feel like there's always a takeaway, like, map 1, we had our struggles. Map 2, we had our strengths. Map 3, we had both. So, it's really just, we'll probably look back at it. We'll talk about it. And after every game, no matter if it's playoffs, hyper, so whatever league, you know what I mean? We always talk about like what we could have done better, what we need to do next time, stuff like that. Like we're constantly learning. Like we're not always going to be able to walk into a game 100%, even like just like today. So, I feel like the takeaway, we're just going to, have to talk about what we should do better next time, and hopefully we'll get it down and, play off each other better, and we'll just keep our mental straight and hopefully make it to the finals.
Would absolutely love to see you guys back in the finals. Of course, a huge congratulations to your team moving on, staying in that upper bracket. I think that about wraps it up for me, though. I'll pass it back to Anthony, though, with a few quick words before we get out of here.
Yeah, for sure. If you guys, congratulations again. And if you guys have any shout outs you'd like to make or anything you'd like to say towards Miami Neon before your matchup with them, please go ahead.
Shouts out to Thor. Shouts out to Zoli, Dexy, Lob, like every single person that showed up today. Thor's sick. He didn't really want to be here. I had to sub him out for map 3. Dexy taking over the IGL both games that I wasn't able to be there. Lob coming in huge in the last game. I'm sure he had other moments, but I just wasn't able to see him. And Zoli, of course, just changing that momentum. Map 2 is exactly what we needed. So I'm just, like I said before, man, I'm just so happy that I'm on a team with these guys. Like they're just so influential in the game, and we have our good times, we have our bad times, but today we just, everybody showed up, did their job. So I'm just, shouts out to them.
Awesome. Anything from you, Dexy?
Like Trey said, shout out to everyone who played today. But more specifically, I want to shout out to who we're playing next. We're playing Miami Neon. And last season, me, Trey, and Lob joined Miami Neon. And I'm actually pretty excited to play them because regardless of who wins and who doesn't win, every single player on Miami that's here right now on Discord or Awake was sitting there rooting for us no matter what. I was getting... Ozzy joined our hand cam, congratulated us. Watson congratulated us. We're in their team server still because we're tight like that. They're in there adding us, saying like good job, and it just feels great to know like either way, next series, if we lose or win, we have Miami Neon to like carry on what we're doing, and we still have the losers bracket, of course. But I just wanted to shout out them and obviously shout out my team. Trey is a big reason why we win a lot of these games. He's honestly such a huge part, and I think people realize it, but I don't think people truly realize the value that he brings. I'm not saying that Thor doesn't make me feel that way, or Zoli doesn't make me feel that way, or Track or Lob, but I feel like Trey is such a big reason why we win our games because he's always there for us. He's always hyping us up, no matter, like our loss to Vista early this season, the upset. Regardless of how bad I played, Trey was still there in my ear telling me, doesn't matter how bad you played. Now, he didn't even say I played bad. It doesn't matter what mistakes you have. I believe in you to make the right choices the next time. So I just want to congratulate everyone on my team. I want to bless out every single person on my team because I love them, and I'm glad to be playing this game with them.
Incredible attitude, Dexy, and thank you for that, certainly. And I definitely respect the words, and it makes the matchup between you guys and Miami Neon all the more exciting because you never bring any kind of better play and competition to when you're playing people that you care about, and that's why you want to beat them. It's just to give them the best possible competition. But that was all that we had question-wise, guys. So thank you so much for talking with us, and congratulations again, and thank you for incredible action tonight. And that will also do it for the stream tonight on Hyper Series GG. Once again, my name was Anthony Mallon, joined by Kingfisher. Thanks to Vac, as always, for the amazing production, and congratulations to the Los Angeles Blessed for moving on to the semifinals with a matchup, Miami Neon. Make sure you follow Hyper Series GG for all the upcoming playoff action, and we'll see you next time.